Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Nantucket Historic District Commission. It is the day, Tuesday, May 27th at 4:02 p.m. Let's see, this meeting is being audio-video recorded. Anything you say or share will be shown on the town's YouTube channel. Please act accordingly. If anyone wants to record the meeting, please notify the chair. If here in the audience, if speaking, please speak through the chair for the benefit of the minutes makers. And I think that's it on the opening. Can we get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Let's see, we'll go with members present, Angus, Val, myself, Connie, and Carrie. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that carries unanimously. We're going to go to election of officers. We have two officer seats, annual elections. One, as you know, is the chairperson, and one is the vice chairperson. How would we like to proceed?
Do we proceed?
We can entertain comments from individuals who would like to be seated to be considered, if anyone wants to speak on that. And if not, we could go to nomination motion and then a vote.
I definitely don't want to be either.
Fair enough.
Well, I can't be. Does anybody want to change anything?
Carrie, put your,
Sorry, through you, sorry. Does anybody want to change anything, or? I'm good with the status quo as it sits now.
Okay. Okay, Carrie, thank you. Anyone else?
Nope.
Okay, I will, just, so, how about Joe, or is Abby with us?
No, Joe and Ray.
And Abby is not attending. I almost don't feel comfortable having an election without all the elected members present.
Mr. Chair, she didn't say she wasn't going to be here, so.
Yeah, no,
Or
and-
nor we're running late.
Can we,
I'll text her.
please?
Can I make a motion to hold on the
Yeah. Well,
vote
let's-
until all the
Yes.
members are present?
I don't even, you actually will I appreciate the concept of the motion, but I don't think we need to actually, we need to do it.
Right.
Just hold it. And we'll do the appointment of the CP representative at the same time. It just seems beneficial to have everyone present. Commissioner Q&A with preservation planner. Do you guys have questions for Holly on any of the reported items?
Nope.
Holly, you have anything on CLG for us?
Just that time is ticking, Mr. Chair. We have to set up our yearly CLG meeting, but for the end of June.
Yahoo!
So we got about a couple of weeks to figure that out. I would love to send a poll out to commissioners on both commissions to give me some, so I can say, hey, what days do you think would work for you? In the middle of the day, at night, I'm flexible. I can be flexible for the commissions. I understand a lot of people obviously work, so
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to get that set in stone.
I think it would be, Val, go ahead.
I have a question for Holly.
Yeah, go ahead.
On that. What's the topics? Do we get a agenda?
Actually, I want to jump in on that. The
Okay.
chairs should establish the topics.
Okay.
So we have a co-chair, CLG, certified local government, and we should establish the topics. And that's an exercise that we'll address. And then it'll be posted to the town website in advance, and obviously you all get a copy.
Okay.
Any other comments?
No.
Holly, I would just suggest we do it sometime after 1 o'clock on whatever day, other than doubling up on a Tuesday. And if we do it on a Saturday, we should shake some money loose from the town and get some coffee and.
Mr. Chair, good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. If we were a capital project, we could get 40% extra, but, okay. That's that. Consent with conditions, just for the sake of simplicity, I'm gonna go with the members at the table. Do we have a motion on consent with conditions?
Motion to approve consent with conditions?
Okay, thank you, Connie. On Connie's motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that's the same as the previous board for the agenda. Views requested from 5/20/25, 3 Miles Court, solar roof, and 88 Somerset Road, rooftop solar. Is Georgie here?
He is not, Mr. Chair.
Did I hear somebody online? Oh, Ray.
I have a report, Mr. Chair,
On this one?
on Abby.
Oh, okay.
When you need
We're
it.
going to have a brief pause in the agenda to get an update on Abby.
This just in.
4:45.
4:45, okay. Let her know she's holding up our elections.
I did.
Okay. I mean, you know.
Probably on baby duty.
Okay, let's see, 3 Miles Court, solar roof. This is a kind of a complicated roof layout. We requested a view in order to give, you said 4:45, it's like 4:07.
I know.
She's
You're under
early.
the bus.
You said 4:45. Did I? Yeah.
That must have been Siri.
It was 4:05.
Okay, guys. Let's get Georgie out of the way and then we'll go back to the elections. Solar roof, 3 Miles Court. Did anyone not view this? The regular members?
I did view it.
Okay. Did anyone not view 3 Miles Court? And then I'll put an alternate on who did.
I did not.
Okay. So.
I didn't either, Stephen.
You did not?
I did not.
Did you view? Ray, you okay with me putting Connie on?
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks.
Okay, so she viewed, and so it'll be Angus, Abby, Val, myself, and Connie on this one. And what shall we do? I guess we'll open it up and we can comment on it, as opposed to having this thing lay fallow for another 6 months.
Yes.
And the applicant's agent will kindly direct staff to proceed through the application expeditiously. I think if you just lay us on the roof plan, we'll be good.
This is his residence.
Yeah, I think the site plan roof plan would be perfect. Yes, yes, yes. Nice, thank you. Who'd like to begin?
I will.
Val?
While this is typically not a roof situation that we would want to encourage for solar, for many reasons, I think that given its location, having been there today, and if they remove what's on the upper roof of the east, which is what's facing the driveway and the road, I would be okay with this.
Okay. Anyone else? Angus?
I think Val articulated it just fine. I don't have anything to add, thanks.
Okay. Do we have a motion or any concerns?
Through you, Mr. Chair, did anybody see the color is, I mean, it's black, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's just not stated on the,
It appears,
it.
It is
appears.
not really black.
Right.
Like the
Like a
first
gray.
pictures we saw in the winter, it's sort of a charcoal
Charcoal.
gray.
yeah.
But really and truly, given they have some big cedar trees, and you won't see even what's on the down low porch roof, it's just the upper roof on that side, you're not gonna see the rest of it, so.
So Val,
These.
and that would be subject to maintaining the existing vegetation or replacing the existing vegetation from the time of inspection thereafter?
Yes,
Okay, so do you want to make a motion and do you want to do this in Exhibit A?
yeah, sure. Motion to approve removing the upper roof panels on the east, the side facing the road, and a caveat that the vegetation must be maintained in perpetuity.
Okay, thank you. Let's see.
Per Exhibit A, sorry.
Perfect. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries. Okay, so that's done. We're going to go back to elections and appointments. And I note that we do not have the Section 106 rep here on the list, so I would like to open the discussion of that and put it on the agenda next week, because we should have a Section 106. Section 106 is the federal program for historic properties. Any projects in the area that receive federal funding are subject to standards of the Secretary of the Interior, and we need a voice there. That's, you know, an elected official or an appointed official. So put that one on next. Okay. Abby, where we left off was election of officers, and that if anyone wanted to speak on the topic, they could, and then we would go to nominations and elections.
Okay. I'm almost here.
Anything?
No.
Do you want to be chair or anything?
No, no.
Yeah,
I will help in any way I
boy,
can.
I'm seeing the writing on the wall here. Okay, well, I have a comment, actually, and I made a very brief note about it. So I obviously hold all of you in high esteem. I spend more time with you than any loved one. You know, John McLaughlin used to tell me the HTC has an important role. And somewhat not much longer after, he would say, life is short. There's a country song, and I won't bore you with my singing
You're
it,
not
but
gonna sing, are you?
no, the important words are "don't blink," and it underscores how short life is. Over the years, as vice chair, initiating the organizational focus committee, and as vice chair, and now as chair, I've taken both those things to heart and attempted through best practices to kind of bring us into a role that is more effective and allows us to get into territory we don't normally get into. One side of us is the regulatory authority reviewing applications as an architectural review board, under which we have certain standards and a lot of subjectivity based upon those standards. We can make our own rules and regulations. That also gives us the authority to branch out into other areas of importance that we really haven't had the opportunity to do. Taking a step back to attempt to try to enhance our role to make it more effective, because we are so important to Nantucket. I won't get into how John would say we are here to protect the town from itself. Not town with a small t, but town with a big T in terms of projects and administration type things. I do see the chair's role as being involved in that and trying to toe the line for this HDC and the HDC commissions that have come before. Where I'm going with this is that the attempt to enhance our status and empower each of you as members of the authority having jurisdiction were best practices. And those best practices, we all unanimously voted in, and I think we support, but we tend to lose track of them because they're not on the forefront of someone's mind. And unfortunately, as chair, facilitating meetings is, you know, you guys sit here, you know what it's like. So if I were to be elected chair, I would have a request of the membership. And that request is that each member picks up one, if not two, depending on how many of them we have, best practice, and they chime in at the meeting, and they help to carry that load. Because, for instance, how we address the meeting ourselves, how other people address the meetings, rules about, you know, 3 strikes, rules about whatever the best practices were. They were designed and voted in for an important reason. And I think it is inhibiting our ability to enhance our role and to contribute more to the community. So that's that. And then there's the don't blink part. And if I'm going to sit here as chair and you are going to trust in me, I need your help in order to maintain the best practices, to further the best practices, and to develop other best practices that are going to make us the best damn HDC commission that ever existed. And during there, I want to plan a succession so that there's another person to come in as chair. But that's where I am, and I mean that with great respect to all of you, but it is, if you vote for me, that's a respectful request / demand. So if you want to consider it, please do, and then we'll do the elections.
Stephen,
Yes, Mr. Vice Chair.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chair. You're asking that other members other than you as chair would cite the best practices when they should be brought up.
Yeah, and more
I believe.
Yes, and more specifically, everyone will pick a topic or two, depending on the number we have, to kind of be a shepherd and to be a voice for. It disperses some of the load, and it's enough as it is that, we were functioning under Robert's rules, but they appear to be Stephen's rules because I'm always having to state them. So it'd be nice to just kind of spread the load out a little bit.
Okay, I understand.
I have a question.
Val?
Can we get a refresher list of those topics?
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Before or after the vote?
No, just to
Well, we
move
know what they are.
forward. Yeah.
Yes, I will, that will definitely be, you can trust in me that it is of great importance that you have that list, and we did, through a brief administrative process, we determine who wants to represent what, and we get that resolved so it can move forward. They're on the website. Yeah, they are on the website. I have them in my folio, but, okay, what would we like to do?
Are we going to take a vote now?
Yeah.
It's up to you guys.
And
I
Karen?
think that's the normal form.
I'll nominate
Well,
Welch. That's my motion?
Yeah, one sec just to see. Ray, did you have a follow-up?
no, I was going to do exactly what Abby just did. Thank you.
Oh, okay. So to be regular members, Angus, Abby, Val, myself, and Ray, and you all can vote too if you want to throw in support one way or the other. And on the motion,
Aye.
say aye.
Oh,
Any opposed?
Stephen, I'm really sorry, but I think because I'm here, that might want to go to a voice vote. Sorry.
You know what? You're correct.
Is that a best practice?
My last act as the chair of this term be to correct before my next act as the chair. So, Abby, on your motion.
Aye.
Angus.
Aye.
Val.
Aye.
Ray.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. And any alternates, if you want to say aye, you may.
Aye.
Excellent. And what shall we do with chair?
Vice chair.
I nominate Ray to stay as vice chair.
I second that. Let's see, on your motion, Val,
Aye.
Abby,
I'm an aye.
Angus,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
and alternates?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Okay, that piece of business is done. We have two other pieces of business on elections and appointments. So CPC, I was the representative for a year. Given the workload, I don't feel that I can really perform at the standard. I know I can't perform at the standard that I would expect of myself to do the job. And so I'm asking for someone to stand in. It's not a terrible amount of work, but it is important, and it is something that needs some focus and attention on a regular basis. No, hold on a second. I think I know who's going to jump in because she mentioned to me last time she was interested, but I don't know if she still is because now she has a grandchild.
Oh, did I?
CPC,
Yeah.
do you want to do the community preservation?
Yeah, I don't think I
Okay, so you're
could.
a tenured individual, so
Yeah.
we had tenure, so we'd ask you first.
Oh, okay.
You've been here. Now,
Ned, no, no. No,
Angus?
thank you.
I'm good.
I just want to say for
Thank
the
you.
purposes of the next people I ask, that all of those individuals are deeply committed to the CPC. It's just that they're terribly busy at the moment. Correct?
That's true.
That's absolutely true.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Um,
5 years.
Yeah, I'm just trying to at least level the field.
Here comes Luigi.
Wait, 1 second. Let's just see. Connie, Karen, Joe?
I'll do
No,
it.
it has to be a regular member.
Yeah, I nominate Connie.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
can't.
we've done it before.
Oh, you can't?
Well, Linda said I can't.
It has to be a regular member, an elected member.
Where does it say that? I almost sat on it once and then Diane did it
Well,
instead.
Diane was a regular member.
I will accept that when it's presented to me in black and white.
All right, the only reason I'm saying that is because we had staff, Mark Boyd was on it, and we were told point blank it had to be an elected member.
Well, yeah, Linda, I don't want to go back and forth, but there's a huge distinguishment between two things. One, staff is staff, and Mark was staff and not an elected official or an appointed official. And secondary, the chair is under the special act empowered to name an alternate when a elected official is not able to fulfill their duty. So right in the act, there's grounds for such a approach. And at this point, I would see if there's anyone who has interest, and then maybe we will, if not, we will take it up at our next meeting after people have a chance to consider it.
Our next meeting is our annual meeting in July, and no, we've got a regular meeting in June. It's always the third Tuesday of the month at 10 o'clock. And we're hybrid, so you can either be there or you can be on Zoom, but it's always the third Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
It's a great group. It's just 10 o'clock is not a good time for me to be able to contribute.
I
So,
already volunteer for too many things.
anyone interested at this point, and if not, we'll take it up after Linda lobbies.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Hold on 1 sec. Once, Carrie, and then
What did Carrie ask?
the appointment's for a year.
1 year,
1 year.
yeah. As I say, we have
Yeah,
staff.
hold on,
and
hold on.
Everything's
Correct
handled
me
through
if
the
I'm
town.
wrong, are not our associates elected as well?
No, they're
Appointed.
appointed by
they're
the selectmen.
appointed. But I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because it's not something that's written in the
Right.
CPC Act, which I'm familiar with because I helped to write it with Linda,
Why don't we wait?
the adoption. And it's not something, our rules and regulations provide that an alternate, an associate member rather, alternate as planning board can be selected by the chair when a full member, an elected member can't fulfill their duties. So I'm comfortable with that.
I'd be interested if no one else.
You would be interested?
Yes,
Okay. I'll take that as a firm commitment.
but unless I can't do it, so. If- 'cause
Unless,
I'm-
yeah, sure.
Okay.
And we'll proceed, and if town council wants to, come in and say you can't do that.
It's
But
just once a month.
I can't imagine.
In the
that that's
fall,
an
it's more, because we have we have 20 applicants, and we have to have interviews with all of them.
All right,
We try
guys,
to
so
do
we are
several in
at
one day.
4:26 and wrapping up that
Yeah.
item is.
I
would
nominate
like to have
Connie Patton for CPC.
regular members, Abby,
Aye.
Angus.
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Val.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Thank you. Welcome aboard the CPC. There's the
Connie,
chairperson.
go down to the town clerk and get sworn in.
Yes. Oh, Ray, go down to the town clerk and get sworn in, just a friendly reminder.
Oh, yeah, thanks. Sorry.
Okay, folks, let's move on to views requested from May 20th, and that's going to be 88 Somerset Road, rooftop solar. Do we have an applicant's agent? Oh, Tobias, good evening, how are you?
Very well.
Got to get the left side of my neck working so I can look over there.
I definitely think complimentary massages for the HDC members are in order for all the punching you do, you know?
Nice, but not by bearded solar installers, please.
Look, I have very strong hands.
Yes, well, thank you. Okay, Tobias, why don't you kindly direct staff through your presentation?
This was approved on consent last week, but I think since the pictures were submitted, when this application was submitted, I don't know, 2 months ago. The client, Marty McGowan, has planted a number of evergreens, such as holly. He's big into planting stuff, and so I felt like it was very approvable and appropriate as submitted, with screening in perpetuity. My client was concerned about it being, what was his word? Invisible or something in the wording. So he just felt like it was very well screened and appropriate. And so I felt like a view was appropriate for the board to take.
Okay.
It's a black roof, panels filling out the roof. Thank you. On the side of the structure.
Okay. Let's see, regular member, or no, this has got an established board, which is myself, Ray, Val, Angus, and Connie. No alternates.
So should I, because I reviewed it, should I give my spiel?
You can comment, but yeah, but you're not, I mean, just to clarify for the record, you're not voting, but you did the consent review, so please proceed.
Yeah, so I thought this was consentable because of the black roof, and I did say additional screening on that corner because it is highly visible. But I think it's going to blend in with the added vegetation, so I had it on consent, but with conditions.
Okay, so that sounds like reasonable conditions to me. I get the gist of it. Anyone else, concerns? Val?
I have no concerns. It's the rear of the building, and I do think when all said and done, it'll be groovy.
Okay. Angus?
I looked at it this weekend, and it certainly looks more lush than in the photos in the application, especially at the corner. But the photo D, where you see the back roof is still visible through the trees. So, but I think maybe the applicant might know somebody who could plant a tree to fill the hole. It's a tough place on a corner to do this solar, but yeah, that was the only place where there was visibility. So I wouldn't have a concern if that hole could get filled.
Okay. Ray?
I see Angus's point, although I think it's so de minimis. I'm sort of, I was okay with this, honestly.
Okay, thank you. Connie?
I have no concerns.
I think that covers it except for me, and I'm good either way. So I think we need a motion. If it's to add a tree, it should be an Exhibit A, and we should indicate on the plan. And otherwise, we should, given this is being approved on the limited or lack of visibility, we want to have the existing vegetation will be maintained or replaced from the time of inspection thereafter.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Would you like to hear the condition that was on the agenda last week?
If it's as strong as that, yes. If it's stronger, that's okay too.
Additional screening with native pines at corner of Somerset Lane and Somerset Road, panels not to be seen at time of inspection and in perpetuity.
Okay, and just add maintain the vegetative buffer.
Okay.
Okay.
So just my question is like, my client, I'm sorry to interrupt, Chair. My client felt like not visible, like if he saw even a slightest panel, then he would be in violation. Where it's like, I think we have a very reasonable standard that, we've definitely worked with our clients to say, limited visibility. I never come to the board and say, oh, things are invisible. I never come before the board and say, oh, the roof is black. I always say it's dark gray. And so that was just what my client was concerned about.
Okay, no, I think that's a reasonable concern, and I think it should just be extremely limited visibility would probably be appropriate. Does anyone have a concern with that?
No, I don't have a concern if you actually see it because it's the rear of the building.
Okay.
And,
Well, I'm just trying to address his concern.
yeah.
So we would change it to not
Nearly.
visible to extremely limited.
Nearly
A
invisible.
question through the chair to the
Yes.
applicant. There was a concern in our last meeting about it being holly instead of pine. Is that still a concern?
Yes.
So the wording in that would change to some evergreen, including holly or pine, because evidently holly has been planted, but not pines.
Isn't Holly at Evergreen?
I think we could just change the language to vegetative screening as opposed to naming a particular species or genus. Cool? Okay. So will you read us the motion again? Val's motion?
Want me to say it again?
Well, we supplemented it if that's okay.
Put me on the spot.
You're good on the spot.
Not really. Additional screening with vegetative screening at corner of Somerset Lane and Somerset Road. Panels not to be seen at time of inspection and in perpetuity, so make that limited visibility. extremely
Panels subject to
Limited visibility.
extremely limited visibility at time of inspection and thereafter. Good, good.
That's not my motion.
You're not good with that? Abby, do you want to make the motion?
Yeah,
But is
But
she
so-
not
sorry,
voting
I-
on this?
Or why don't we vote on Val's motion?
Well,
Go ahead, Val.
I had a question. Screening on the corner doesn't screen the panel. Screening on the corner screens the building.
I didn't articulate the concern. I'm just trying to facilitate a vote.
We
And
could-
the applicant's agent has said that they're willing to provide, to meet the condition subject to that it not be subjected to being not visible, but having extremely limited visibility. So you have a concern, that's valid, but the applicant's agent does not share that concern.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Ray has his hand up.
Ray?
Thank you. So that point about screening at the corner, to Val's point, is screening something where the panels aren't. The only place, as Angus pointed out, where there's any visibility of this is on Somerset Road between the house and the cottage. There's a little tiny, there, right there. Yes, that's not at the corner. That's on Somerset Road. So screening on the corner is not really doing anything for anybody. I just want to make that point. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Val has a motion on the floor to approve subject to what? You had stated a motion before.
I had no concerns about screening at all.
No, I understand that. I'm asking you, what was your motion?
Motion to approve as submitted, and plant something in that one spot, and that's it. If you can see them a little bit, so what?
Okay, so that way, we had a motion on the floor, I want to act on it, and then we can decide if we're, the result of that will determine where we go, so we can get this thing off our plate. On the motion, Val,
Hi.
Ray,
All right.
Abby,
And this includes the one tree from view D, correct? Just
the
to
one,
cover,
view D,
yeah, to cover that whole
not beauty, but view.
view T,
Yeah,
view T.
photo D.
view D.
I'll do an Exhibit A.
Can
Okay,
you
so
please
that's,
not, it just takes so much longer.
I'm an aye.
oh, you're not on it, that's
This is
right,
like
thanks.
the most benign.
Wait,
of
wait,
the
wait,
two.
wait, please. This
I
is
understand.
More than complicated enough. Ray, your vote.
Aye.
Thank you. Val, you're an aye. Connie,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
and there you go, magic. I'm an aye. That carries unanimously.
Thank you.
And that just gets written on the thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just draw a little circle where you want to plant and say plant here. Okay. 20 Main Street, pool. Linda Williams, come on down. Oh, boy, that was tough.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That was really tough.
Unnecessarily.
Val, we're all entitled for it.
Or are you just going to make a comment?
I think it's an exhibit A with
Okay, good.
the,
Hold on a second, there's a lot of crosstalk. Yes. He's gonna draw a little plant. Can we get some Crayolas so we can color coordinate, please? All right, when Fiona's ready, Linda, you can kindly direct staff through the
Just
presentation.
writing down the board.
The board is, as indicated
Yep.
in the agenda, Ray, and I am not on it, so I am going to give this to Ray.
Okay, thanks.
Don't go far, you're on the next one.
Okay, let's see. Linda, you're repping.
Yep,
Me, Abby, Val, Angus, Connie.
yep, no alternates.
So let's go.
Okay, we moved it over.
Can I
Talk
get
to
the
Holly.
screen?
We moved it over even further. We put a fence even further in. We put a fence actually hiding it from Main Street, though it's about 100 and some odd feet off of Main, behind the house. Keep going. There you
Hey,
go.
excuse me, folks, I have no visual.
Well, it's right there.
All I see is, hang on. I don't know what's going on.
Sign back in, or not sign back in. Close out.
If you go to the, Ray,
Keep
try
going.
going
If
to
everybody
your,
else can see it, that's
go to your
fine,
view
but I
packet.
can't.
Go to the
No,
view
I'm
packet.
on my,
Pull it up.
on my computer. I don't want to argue about this. Just keep going. I can't see anything.
Hold on, she's going a different way. Can you see it now?
No, I'm looking at you guys. Okay,
Yes.
just keep going, keep going.
Okay, we moved it over. Oh,
I had
on.
it for about 10 seconds and then it disappeared. There it is. Okay,
modern technology.
Thank you.
Okay,
Go,
we moved
Linda.
it over. We moved the pool equipment to the other side. Not visible. There is already a 6-foot fence on the rear, but we have our own fence now. And we have a fence on the north side from the, screening it from Main Street, but there is a long, about 170 feet or so off of Main, and 75 plus feet off of the side street, which is farther from the street than any of the other ones, including the ones that are on corner lots, which you can see right through the hedges on some of the other ones. So we've moved it over. We've got screening. If you want to go down another page, I believe it's the next page. Oh, keep going. Keep going. There's a planting page.
I didn't see that.
There it is.
But it doesn't say where it's going.
No.
It does plan.
It doesn't.
I'm not sure you have everything I put in then. Keep going, because that, I put in the repeat of the whole first one. You want to keep going?
That's it.
All right, there's another supplement then, because we put it in 2 weeks ago. All right, I don't know where it went. I was there with Kathy, we put it in. I sent it to everybody again, so they have it all in their emails, where I have, it's going across all the fences, especially the one coming from Main Street. Because I went over it with Holly.
Okay, look, we gotta move on here, or we're gonna have another solar panel at Marty's house.
Oh, please. You want to go back up to the site plan again? I just put the whole application back in the first time, because you asked for that. The screening is going on the fences
In the front,
In
not
the-
in back.
and the back. That driveway is not going to continue to curl around through the whole structure.
Obviously.
So there's a
Anything else?
there, it's on the other plan that was put in. There's screening on the fence, there's screening on the north side of the one going from Main Street, 175 feet from Main. Plus, there was a map that was put in that showed the distances from everywhere.
Okay. Is that it, Linda?
Well, without those, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, this is what we got. Okay, thanks, Linda. Holly.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, appreciate the newer location to be blocked from Main Street. However, I didn't see any details of the proposed 5-in-1 fence or the gate. And I mentioned that the site plan should show where the proposed vegetation is going. Understand that it'll be planted in front to break up the wall as suggested by Commissioner Oliver. But I had concern, or just questions on The color, is it natural to weather or white? I think you all had discussed on having it natural to weather so it blends in, but what's the gate detail, the fence detail, and the landscaping locations? This was the only plan that I saw in the packet.
I have it right here where it went to everybody.
Those are my comments,
That is
Mr. Chair.
incorrect.
Thank
I
you.
never got anything.
Holly, thank you. Okay, Mr. Benchley.
And I had it all colored.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Hang on one sec. Mr. Chair, my name is Rob Benchley, and I represent the Wisconsin Advisory Group. Which consists of myself and Clement Durkis, Mary Lathrop Will, and Caroline Ellis. Mr. Chair, if I may read this quick little description of the property as it's listed on the internet, and I quote, "is secure your enduring legacy within the chronicles of Wisconsin history with this unparalleled acquisition opportunity. Cement your place in time by stewarding an extraordinary property, own the past and shape its future, preserving the heritage of this enclave. This is more than a purchase, it's embracing the fabric of Wisconsin. Become a custodian of stories, memories, and charm, forging ahead as a trusted guardian of tradition." Period. Mr. Chair, we don't believe that this pool fits this narrative. And that's our comments. Thank you, sir.
Okay, well, Rob, thanks for that. And I want to underscore that that was actually read from the listing. This is on the market. That was read from the listing sheet, I'm pretty sure, right, Rob?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, okay, thanks. All right, so Rob, thank you. Let's see, anything else, or should we jump right into it? Who's ready? Let's see. Board again.
I can go, Mr. Chair.
That's Abby. Okay,
Yeah.
Abby, go ahead.
Okay, so Abby Camp for the record. Yeah, this is a historic house in a very open neighborhood, not a lot of fences. Putting up the fencing is going to change the streetscape and change this sort of enormously and not contribute in a good way. So I find it inappropriate. Thank you.
All right, Abby, thank you. Let's see. Val, Angus, Connie.
I think if it's vegetation as a screening and the fence is behind that to the interior, just seeing the fencing would be preferable. And the fencing should be natural to weather. I agree with that. We do not have anything to indicate what's going where, nor did we ever receive it. So I would want that to be part of the motion to make sure it is supplemented well enough to do that.
Okay. Val, thank you.
I can go next.
Thank you, Angus. Go ahead.
So there was a reference to an existing 6-foot fence, and there's a picket fence on the east side that is your type 2 fence, 3 feet that you see through. And on the south border is maybe a chain link fence or something that you can see through. There isn't a board fence
It is a board fence.
on this property, and in the entire neighborhood, there aren't 5-in-1 fences. There aren't screening fences. You see from the street through someone's yard to someone else's yard to someone else's yard, more or less, depending on the season and how much the foliage is there. But it's completely out of character to actually create an opaque wall. And so I find it not appropriate. And I also think that I'm not sure if this has been here 2 or 3 or 4 times with roughly the same idea here with a pool on the south side of the house. And at some point, I think we have to enact our 3 strikes and you're out. Thank you.
Angus, thank you. And thank you for citing the best practices. Okay, Connie, it's to you.
So I do appreciate the change in location. However, I have to agree, I would certainly like to see the gate detail and the proposed vegetation before I would even feel comfortable to vote on this. Thank you.
Okay. So Linda, the best you're going to get out of this is a hold for revisions. We'll need more information. I'm, trying to do the math and, whether this gets approved or not, I believe is a question mark. So to Angus's point earlier, we want to, the next time this comes in, we should really see, we should have the commissioner's comments addressed in full, including all the planting vegetation that we don't now have. Can somebody give me a motion to move it along?
I have a question, Mr. Chair, through you.
Yes, Val.
It's to the board, more or less.
Yeah.
Does anybody feel that a 4-foot board fence is high enough with the screening in front of it?
Well, we're good with whatever height you want.
A 3-foot fence would hide it,
Yeah.
but a board fence is just out of
Right.
character.
So like a picket fence with,
There are plenty of type 2s out there.
yeah,
Yeah, and on this property.
okay.
Screening down in front or behind it then.
I want the screening what faces the street. I don't care what you guys look at on the inside.
Right.
And if the gate is going to be a section of the fence, that would be helpful to know.
Okay. All right. That sounds good, Val. Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Motion to hold for revisions?
Okay. Thank you, Val. On that motion, Connie,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
Abby,
I,
Val,
Aye.
and I'm in favor. Okay, thanks, folks. Let's see. Now we are on to 12 Angola. Oh, which I'm chairing, and Stephen, for some reason, is sitting. Let's see. George is there. Is that right?
Going well.
Who's repping this?
Katie Mitchell's repping it,
Oh,
Mr. Chair.
okay, Katie. All right, so the board, myself, Stephen, Abby, Kerry, alternate Connie. So Connie, you're going to get pulled in because Diane was sitting on this and she's no longer with us. Is that okay, Connie?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, Katie, you want to talk to us?
Everybody's familiar with this project. So first off, I changed moved the location of the secondary dwelling back. I made all the necessary changes to make it match Joe's approved structural plans. After that, I just worked on the wall. I mean, I tried to make it a little bit more natural. I married it into the back foundation of the house, which is what the contractor has requested now. And if you scroll down, there's some pictures of my proposal on how to construct the walls. So they look very natural. It would be there would be a footing. It would be a dry stack, angled sort of back. And you would be able to plant vines, creeping things in the rocks, like in the wall, between the stones. So I added plant material to the list to show, what kind of stuff I would plant there that would hide the wall, as well as vines coming down from the top of the wall. And that's about it. I mean, we talked and talked and talked with Ernie Strang and the contractor about getting it down to one wall, and we just don't know how to hold that slope with one wall without making it ridiculously tall.
Okay. Is that it, Katie?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the concerns of visibility, again, I just reiterate that between the structures and the small sections of fence between the two houses, between Angola and the 8 North Mill House, as well as the section of fence between the secondary dwelling and the main house at 12 Angola. And in addition to the vegetation, I just, there's gonna be, you definitely won't see the lower wall, and the second wall is just gonna blend right into all the vegetation. And it's gonna be I think, a really cool looking wall, to be honest. But that's
Okay.
it. I'm just
All
curious to
right.
hear what you guys all have to say, because I just wanna.
Thank you. Thank you, Katie. Let's see, I'm gonna start with Holly. And I
Thank
do
you, Mr.
understand there's a few abutters, so I'll get to them in a moment, but Holly first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I have provided you all with some basic history, if you will, where the main home was approved in March of 2024. The garage and studio was also approved March 2024. And the driveway was also approved as a separate application. However, this application that's before you was submitted first, so it does still reflect the driveway, but this is for the retaining wall and the subsequent changes that the board had requested with the removal, pushing back the garage, as Katie had indicated. At that review in 2024, the commissioners were concerned with the walls should be berms that were more organic with the natural landscape, were some comments, should be more aesthetically pleasing. There was a concept to consolidate the walls into one to enhance the landscape and blend it more naturally. It was noted that the two retaining walls are very formal. Many points on having retainage follow the natural contours of the existing hill and the topography. Some recommendations from staff's perspective: building with Nantucket in mind indicates that retaining walls ought to be used only where necessary to mediate large grade changes. It is preferred that they be kept inconspicuous to the rear of the lot, which I do believe this is. Within Old Historic District, however, retaining walls should be faced with a select common or water-struck brick. Appreciate both the photos of the proposed fieldstone for these walls and the cross-section that's been provided. However, with changes to the topography, I think a cross-section of the site showing both existing and proposed would be helpful to understand the overall changes. Working with the natural grade as much as possible is recommended. So those are my updated comments. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Holly, thank you. And is Mickey on?
I am, yep.
Great. Your turn.
Okay, thank you. So this is Mickey Rowland. I'm representing the Historic Structures Advisory Group, and that is myself, Jason Finger, Mary Bergman, and Marcia Fader. So, you know, it's pretty likely that some of these walls will be visible from a public way through between buildings, between the garage and the house. It's likely that some will be visible. This project really needs to be coordinated with the one going on next door. Even the plan shows the two walls kind of as a continuation between the neighbors and this property. And it sounds like there's some discussion about the neighbor being able to reduce their wall down to 1 and make it less visible. And you know, they say it's not possible to make this wall 1 on this location, but that's a matter of where they put the base of the retaining wall. They can readjust the slope and move the wall in closer to the houses, and I think that they could eliminate one of the walls and get it down to 1 if they really tried. So that's my comment. Thanks very much.
Okay, Mickey, thanks a lot. And as I understand it, we have 3 people, Ann Duez, Fred Mueller, and Ann Davis. So just I think Ann and Fred are on Zoom. So Ann, you want to start it out?
Mr. Chair, Ann Duez, sorry.
There's 2 Anns.
We have Ann Davis in the room and Ann Duez online.
Who wants to start? Ann Duez is going to start. Okay, figured. So she's on Zoom, and if she would unmute, she can be heard next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I
There
have
you go.
unmuted, so I assume you can hear me.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I sent a letter on the project 2 weeks ago, which I assume that you have all had a chance to read in the ensuing 2 weeks. I'm representing 19 families. I'm happy to enumerate them if you wish, but I've given the list a few times before. Most importantly, I'm representing Pam Clark, who's a direct abutter to the property across the street and is fully in accord with our views as a neighborhood group. And that is very simply that the retaining walls are not appropriate. We've said it many times before. There are ways to change what they're doing to respect the natural slope of that hill. And this is not something that we're backing down on. It's been what we've been saying since the very first time this application came before you, originally for the house, but the whole retaining wall scheme was listed on the plans at the time. And we're seeing no change. The wall height is still what it is, almost 9 feet, although it's unclear because the plans are different depending on what part of them you look at. So I think that I went through the meeting notes again from March of 24, which is the last time you have looked at this. And the comments were uniform about dealing properly with this slope, not having these big retaining walls. And nothing has changed. I don't know how many times, this must be the 4th or 5th time you've looked at this application. So I think we're getting well beyond the 3 times and you're out rule here. So it's very frustrating. I'm sure it's frustrating to you too, but I think it's inappropriate. We know it's inappropriate. So let's just get to the point where we get something appropriate that we can talk about constructively. Secondly, there is that a timer? Yep. Okay, because if it is, I'll just add one other thing. You've read my letter. If I read Holly's notes correctly, it said that the walls, the fences were removed, which was recommended last March. But as far as I can see, they're still there. So I'm not sure why they're still there. Thank you.
Okay, Ann, thank you. Let's see, should we go to Fred next?
There, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Fred.
As party to the family that sold the lot.
It's 23 hours.
What was that?
That may have been the timer, but keep going, Fred.
As a party to the family that sold the lot, both of these lots on Angola. Let me just say that my brother and I have supported the neighborhood because we think that they've made a lot of good points, but I also am aware of the fact that I benefited from the sale of this lot. So I'm uncomfortable saying exactly what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. You could build a smaller house, full stop, and then not have to go to extremes with the wall situation.
Why are we talking about house size?
I don't understand myself.
Well, exactly.
House is approved, it's already approved.
I get that the house is
Oh, no,
approved.
come on, you guys, no back and forth. Let's let Fred just do.
Those are my comments.
Okay,
You wouldn't have to be going nuts with this wall if the house fit.
understood. Okay, Fred, well, thank you very much for your comments.
Okay, thank you.
We'll move to Ann Davis in this case, who's live. Ann, your turn.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Pohl. Ann Davis, 15 Mill Street. I really have to agree. I looked over the minutes from the last time this came up, and a lot of comments were made about, creating a berm, creating something that was more organic, respecting the hillside. Nature is such an important part of the site. And the walls are, they're very uniform. I appreciate the fact that they're going to be dry stone walls, but they're 9 feet high together. And they will be visible from around the neighborhood at various points. And this is such an important site. It is the streetscape that is around the Garden of the Sea. It's not, going down Angola. It is around the Garden of the Sea. So we are going to see it from different vantage points. And and I feel like nature is not being respected here. The walls are long, they're tall, and they're somewhat industrial. So if something could be done that was organic. I loved the idea that the commissioners said last time about berms or respecting the hillside. And I've measured the Mueller's little house wall that's like 3 feet high, something like that. Also, there's nothing like this in our neighborhood. So those are my comments.
And thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so folks, it's down now to the board, and I'm going to do a refresh. Did we get everybody?
Yes, we did, Mr.
I
Chair.
believe we did. Okay, great. Myself, Stephen, Abby, Carrie, and Connie. Thank you. Who wants to begin?
Ray, do you mind if I just point out a couple of things that were misstated?
Really briefly, very
Yes,
briefly.
I don't know where everyone keeps getting this 9-foot wall. Both walls are about 30 inches tall. They are as organic in structure as you can get. There is nothing industrial about dry stack stone. And to one of Ann Duez's points, as Linda just reminded me, that is not, the existing slope is not a natural slope. What did you just tell me? It's not the original slope. It was cut by humans. So, I mean, again, I'm just
Okay.
doing my best to work with the existing conditions here.
Okay. Thank you, Katie. All right, now we are to the board. Who would like to begin?
I'll
What
go.
brave soul?
I will go, Ray.
Oh, Stephen.
So this, the neighboring property is subject to, I believe, an agreement between this lot owner.
Yeah, this is something I was not made aware of.
Yeah, so
but
I just want to make sure that, one, that gets addressed, because it could be a problem. And two, it very likely would be a problem if they aren't coordinating.
I'm doing both, so they.
Okay,
yeah.
so
All
we
right,
need
no
to
back and
get-
forth. Let's let Stephen talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Ray. Chairman Pohl, we need to get, to my mind, we need to get clarification that the agreement stands, that the work is being done in concert, that the work being done in concert is consistent with the agreement. 1, 2, 3. Number two, to my mind, I want to see a staked at 5-foot intervals, lower wall with orange tape, and the higher wall with taller stakes, top of wall staked with, I don't know, pink tape. Or reverse them. It really doesn't matter what the color are, as long as one wall is staked, the top of the stakes top out at the top of the desired finished wall height, and the marking tape is at the same height, and then respectively the same for the second wall height. I want to be able to go through I want to be able to walk by the property and identify what I will see and have a copy of the landscape plan on my tablet to determine what will be mitigated by, what, if anything, will be mitigated by proposed landscape materials or other hardscape materials such as gates or fences. And for me to have a discussion at this point on this topic without that visual aid doesn't make any sense.
Just want photographs
Just,
of
I'm saying stake it, tape it, differentiate the two walls, make it very neat and clean so the stakes don't stick up beyond the height of the top of the first wall relative to closest to the house, and the stakes don't stick up higher than the top of the wall top on the second, so that it literally creates a
Shows the
visual
lines.
plane of each top, and it follows the contours fairly accurately, if not exactly. And that is a tool that I would require in order to make an informed decision on this. Thank you.
Okay, Stephen, thank you very
you,
much
Mr.
for your
Chair.
comments. Who's next?
I'll go. It's
All right.
Carrie, for the
Yep,
record. Carrie
thank
Thornwell.
you.
I totally appreciate the material of the walls. I appreciate the fact that things can grow in it, over it, and all that, because I think eventually it will disappear with enough planting. I also appreciate the section of the wall that is part of the house foundation. I do think on the left side, I don't know if it's north, south, east, it's a little bit confusing, but I do believe it's the northeast, where the approved secondary dwelling is. I do think those walls need to be separated because they're butted up against each other, and you're gonna need some
So I can see what you're talking about.
safety fence.
No, on my plan.
Can you go to the plan? Okay, oh. Over here, where you have two walls butting up to each other, I think you're gonna need fencing for safety because it is quite tall. And I would really love to see this wall here as you sort of incorporate it into the foundation to bring it around a little closer in and have it end here to give yourself more like distance, to give yourself more slope. So you actually show the slope in some of that area that could be visible from parts of the neighborhood. Because I think even though it is a man-made slope, that's what people are used to looking at, and that's what they want to see, is some of the natural slope. And granted, you're planting a lot of it, which is great, but at the same time, I think some of the neighbors would like to see some of that slope if they're going to see it, so give them some slope. It does mean you'd probably have to move the AC and the shower maybe over to the other side where you have a lot of plants on the right side of the courtyard. I think doing those things would help a lot, and I think you're getting really close.
Yeah, I just, my concern there again would be just, we could not find another location for those condensers, and I don't know where you would put it on.
I
Okay.
think they fit over here.
Hang on, folks.
Visible.
Oh,
But those are the condensers for the secondary dwelling.
It looks like those are, yeah, oh,
One's for
well,
another dwelling or on the other.
all right. Hey, guys. Katie, let's
Sorry.
just let Carrie say what she wants to say.
I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
And,
Thank
you know,
you.
whether or not you can affect whatever she's suggested as a change remains to be seen. Let's see, we still have Abby and Connie.
I can go.
Connie, go ahead.
So I really don't have much to add. I agree with what's been said already. I do like the idea of, like Carrie said, somehow the plantings kind of grow in, and they'll hopefully eventually the walls won't be visible, but I have to say I would like to see a view just to get an idea of just the actual height, because I'm a little bit fuzzy about the actual height of these walls. Thank you.
Okay, Connie, thank you. Let's see, Abby, you ready?
Yeah, yeah, so as the neighbor stated, this is right across the street from Garden of the Sea, and you've got your two pictures there to show Angola how rural this is. I think the presented design is far too formal for Angola, and I think the continuous retaining wall is just, it's just too much. It just doesn't relate to the countryside there. And, you know, two of them is, you know, I could see doing some retaining wall, but it should be natural with the landscape. I kind of agree with Carrie on that far left side that probably it's going to be a bit of a dramatic drop off on that far left if, you know, you're going to need some retaining there if you're going to make that a flat area. I think the whole problem starts with wanting to have a large lawn and not just go with the slope, the natural slope of the hill. So that could be considered too. Thank you.
That's interesting, Abby, because I was about to say the same thing, which is like a lot of this wall being compressed on the backside of the property has to do with the fact of maximizing the amount of lawn. If that was conceded in some way, then I don't think the walls would be as tall or as onerous. But there have been a lot of good points made. I think Stephen said it well when he said that, you know, in order to visualize all this stuff, we should really have some tape and some stakes put up. So that's kind of where I am with this whole thing, in addition to any possible revisions to the plans made as a result of the comments that were made today. So can somebody formulate a motion for me, please?
That's my motion, Mr. Chair.
Okay, but I want to make sure that your motion would include the stakes and tape in the way that you described.
Yes, I will indicate that the motion is to hold for a view to include lower level stakes topped out at the top of the lower level wall with colored marking tape at that height, and likewise the taller wall in a different color, and any revisions the application is, the agent or the applicant is willing to put forth for the next meeting.
Great. Thanks very much, Stephen, for that motion. On that motion, Connie.
Aye.
Oh,
Carrie.
Mr. Chair,
Stephen?
I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt the process, but
Yeah.
I think integral is we want to confirm what was stated at the beginning, that
Yes.
the neighbors are working with the applicant and in concert and in agreement with the existing agreement with the HDC, and then that's what's going to be presented and built.
Yeah. Okay.
We need
Got
that
it.
cleared up.
I thought you were going to say it was time for a pizza break.
Oh, boy, we wish.
No. Okay, so there's the modified motion. Let's try this again. Connie?
Aye.
Thank you. Carrie?
Aye.
Very good. Abby?
Aye.
Stephen?
Aye.
And I'm in favor. Thank you all. All right, moving right along, we're going down to 1826 Sparks Avenue.
Okay, that brings me back into position. Hardscape. Linda, this was supposed to be delivered for signatures? I think we're still going to want the signature block because we're going to not just pass this without that information. Okay, why don't you zoom it in and then let's have George chat with us, please. All right, George, you're the man of the moment.
Could I share my screen or would you like me to drive?
You can share as long as what you're sharing is what was submitted.
It is what it is submitted.
Thank you, just to confirm.
Okay. Everybody should see my screen. I think that I can keep this brief. I don't want to hear the jingle for the timer. So there was a comment about having a signature block. So Mr. Chair, we added that to each one of the sheets where appropriate. We weren't sure who the HDC representative would be, so we left that fairly nebulous. But the sign off on the brick pavers, the granite pavers, the street lamps, and the privacy fence were of major concern with regard to hardscapes. What we did is, this is actually a picture. It was referenced to street lamps from Stop and Shop. This is a picture of that. We can match that, and we'll order a sample for sign off before we order the entire lot. A 5-in-1 board fence, which is typical for a lot of the areas in this space, and then a change to Stiles and Hart paving brick. And again, with the granite pavers, the intent would be to have somebody from the HTC sign off on samples on site, so that we could make sure that they match as closely as they can. We changed the note here to note that we're going to keep the existing board fence that's currently between our property and Cumberland Farms. We changed the notes to just note the street lamp that's bubbled, and 5-in-1 typical board fence across the entire back. 5-in-1 board fence closing the dumpsters. We noted and changed this to say that it's going to be granite transition pavers, again, that will be approved. These general notes here note that it's going to be Stiles and Hart paving bricks, again, to be approved. And I think that is just about it. We made the appropriate notations here too, that the granite pavers here will match what's next door at Cumbies. On the landscaping plan, which is associated with this, we put the blocks on here. We were asked to replace the red oaks, which we had cornering the lots. A skyline honey locust was suggested, so we've made that note. I would like to come back to that in a second, but from a landscaping standpoint, these were the five actually that were changed, and they've been bubbled on this submission. And again, there's a sign-off block for that. Again, the only change on this sheet was to change the red oak out for the skyline honey locust, and we've ballooned that. Again, we've put just a sign-off block here, so we'll do when the time is appropriate. And then these are the elevations that were assigned to that. We've inserted photographs of or images of skyline honey locust that has a slightly more open canopy. And again, these were the locations that were previously identified to be red oak. So I think that we've picked up all the comments. I believe your staff comments noted that. And again, there's sign-off blocks on each of these sheets for the HDC representative, whoever that is at the time. These need to be signed off on to be able to review the samples in the field and sign off on them.
Okay, thanks, George.
Sure.
So it's myself, Ray, Abby, Angus, and Connie. Who'd like to begin?
Hey, Steve, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I'm good with the changes.
Okay. Abby?
Yeah, so, I don't, sorry, I'm not recording myself. I was looking at this, and I was looking at the sidewalk, and I was wondering how much hardscaping is there from Sparks to the building? And my point is that there doesn't seem to appear to have any public space. It's all hardscaping and with a few beauty strips around the edges. And I don't, when we did Stop and Shop, we made an area for the public to sit, and we made, it had landscaping. And this just looks so hardscape to me. I can't, it doesn't even resemble what was there before. I mean, you could make a little bit of an effort to make it fit in with the neighborhood, but now this is the neighborhood. So I don't think it's appropriate. Thank you.
Thanks, Abby. Angus?
I agree with what's been said.
Wait, can you clarify? Because one was.
Yeah. Well, I agree with the changes, but I also agree that there could be a more green space. But my question is about the lighting, actually, if it's dark sky compliant, as far as the bug rating with backlight, uplight, and glare.
Through you, Mr. Chair.
Through the chair to the.
Go ahead, George.
Yes, we can ensure that. We'll make sure that's certified. Again, these are matching what's across the street. I'm not sure if the dark sky regulations have changed, but we'll make sure they comply with that. We wouldn't want to do anything that doesn't.
Okay. Anything else, Angus?
That's all, thanks.
Okay, Connie?
So I appreciate the changes, and I'm okay with this. Thank you.
Okay. So I have a couple concerns. One, this really isn't a concern, but procedurally, the sign off will be the HCC representative will state the chair or the vice chair, number one. The tree should indicate, what was the caliper we have been talking about? Was it
4.
6 inch?
We can't get 6, 4.
Yeah,
We
4,
can't even transport 6.
5?
4 to 5 is what we're calling for. We're trying to figure out if we can transport 5 there. Planning board requires a caliper of 4.
4,
So
yeah, but I happen to know that they aren't going to look down their nose if it comes as a 5.
If we can transport the
If we
5.
can transport it, that's all.
Yeah, George, they get transported all the time. There's a lot of very expensive trees that get planted here and, they don't fly them in a helicopter, but they get them here. So 5-inch caliper, and I think at least on the front side is important and 4 on the back. I'm willing to concede on that point.
Are you talking about the perimeter ones on the front?
Yeah, perimeter on the front, the anchor, the anchors of this new neighborhood, I think, right, Abby, they should have at least 5-inch caliper trees. The other thing is what was it? Oh, the 5-in-1 fence just doesn't sit right with me. I think it's inappropriate for a commercial setting like this. It's not historic. A 6-foot board fence with a cap, type 2 cap on it would be typical of what we'd see downtown when we did, John, Val, and I, Val, you'll recall, did a intensive study and worked up the fence guidelines for the HDC that were voted in unanimously. The 5-in-1 fence, I just personally, based upon that review, don't think is appropriate. I don't know that it's going to be beneficial to the neighbors. It's something you can see through. On both sides of the fence, there's not an attraction. It's a parking lot, and it would be with the caveat that there'd be a surface material, plant material, every 3 sections. So a climbing hydrangea would not be damaging the fence as opposed to a Baltic or English ivy. And that's also consistent with our guidelines. So those are my concerns. And I'm happy to work up a motion.
We're fine with 6 forward.
Yeah, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair?
Hold on one sec, George.
Sure.
Not sitting on this, but I do have a question about the 4-foot fence going right to the road. Is that a concern? Did somebody say that?
It's already there.
Yeah,
It exists.
Yeah.
It's the Cumbies fence.
So that's
Is that
Tony's
an
existing
issue?
fence. The other thing with the fence that I just want to add on, thank you, Carrie, is that the Cummings is a solid board fence. So introducing a 5-in-1 lattice creates another vocabulary. I just don't believe it's appropriate.
Yep.
Okay.
George, do you want to comment?
Yeah, we're good with a 6-foot board fence, quite honestly. I think a 5-in-1 was mentioned last week. And it is what they use across the street at Stop and Shop. They have 5-in-1s, particularly on Sparks Ave, but we're fine with a board fence and a cap. Either way is fine with us.
Okay, and then the other item that, it doesn't tend to translate at planning board, but if you drop, not on the planning board, but on the, for instance, the Stop and Shop, they won't accept my coupons anymore after I say this. The level of irrigation maintenance and plant maintenance is not appropriate, and we'll need to include, I believe, a condition that the plants will be installed and maintained in good health from the time of inspection and thereafter.
Yep.
This is not, the other one is the post office, and it's a jungle over there. It's like a barrier. So I think that's an important consideration. I would ask you guys to
That's fine.
incorporate, and the commissioners to incorporate in their thoughts. Does anyone want?
It sounded like you were going to make a motion.
Oh, okay, so it will be, let's do this as a condition restriction.
Oh, hey, Stephen?
Yes, sir.
I apologize. For some reason, I thought that I was chairing and okay. So you're going to want somebody else to craft a motion.
Yeah, maybe I'll recite it and then they can say yes or no.
Okay.
How about, Ray, did you want to make a motion?
If he's chairing, he can.
No,
I'm not. Okay, to be clear, I'm not chairing. That was my mistake. Yes. Stephen, you have to recap the things that you said, like the alternating sections of fence, the board fence.
I was headed there next.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion would be, I believe that Ray is going to make, is that the materials are signed off before installation by the chair or vice chair. The trees that anchor the Sparks Ave side are, the trees are
4 to 5?
5-inch caliper trees.
Can you say 4 to 5?
Simple.
I don't want to get
Simple
nailed for
5-inch
4.5.
caliper trees. Linda, you're not making the motion. The
Not gonna be
proposed
5.
new fence is 6-foot board, cedar with a type 2 cap. Plant materials installed will be maintained in good health from the time of inspection in perpetuity. Ray, is that your motion?
Well, almost my motion. Wasn't there something about with the fencing to alternate the climbing hydrangea or
Yes,
whatever?
every third
Section.
panel would have a climbing hydrangea.
Okay, that is my motion, Mr.
And that's
Chair.
through staff, Mr. Chairman?
Thank you. That'll
Yes,
be,
through
yeah,
staff.
Can I
Okay.
second that motion?
we're having a second for discussion.
The cedar fence is natural to weather,
Yes.
Yes,
and that the lighting meets the dark sky compliance.
yep.
GW, and yeah, I mean, I don't have an issue, but I just want to point out for us, so it doesn't become a condition we have to, feel compelled to add to approvals, is dark sky is under the zoning bylaw, so
Yeah,
in
not
order for it to go
HDC.
in. But I appreciate the sentiment, I think it's valid, I just want to, so Ray, that's your motion, and
It
it's
is.
been seconded, and I will do you the courtesy of writing it up during the pizza break.
Thank you.
How do you vote on your motion?
Aye.
Aye. Let's see, Abby,
Nay.
nay. For the record, Abby Camp is a no. Angus,
Aye.
Connie,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. So that carries 4 in favor, 1 opposed. And now we will take the long-awaited sustenance break, and we will be back at 5:40.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Hey, Ray, we can hear you.
Okay, I'll mute.
Hello. I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I think you're muted.
We're good? Ron?
Yes.
Okay, welcome back to the Nantucket Historic District Commission, take two. We are in consent items. I just want to suggest to and have them recall that these were applications that and they're back. So let's perhaps be short declarative statements, state what you want, and let's move through the list. Abby, did you catch that last part?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we are at 7 Folger Lane, myself, Ray, Abby, Val, Angus, and let's see, we've got, bear with me a second. Oh, say 6 and 8.
It's just like you.
We can get through this tonight and go home early if we're trying and succinct. So with that, let's, who's here to represent?
I'm here, Mr. Chair.
Who's I? Hey, Michael. Welcome. Starts with you. You're gonna share? Uh-oh, Michael, you're frozen, so we're gonna let you work that out. You might want to turn off your video.
Yes. Let me put,
All right. Let's go to the next one. We can come back to him.
Okay.
it's James.
James, 11 Pleasant Street, new garage. That's how we are, cutthroat. Bam, done.
Is it
Hello?
the first one or the second?
James,
First one is just
or is that
How you
Michael?
doing?
James, the old.
No,
is
it's
it-
James.
Hi, James. I hope you had the
guys can
benefit of hearing all that little dialogue we just had.
I did.
Why don't you jump in with both feet and get us moving here?
Would you like me to drive and share, or?
Yes, please.
My screen should be loading now.
Which one are we looking at, garage or garage one?
Garage one is.
The prior?
A garage one.
Application,
I'm showing the garage right now, which I believe was first.
same with the next one.
Okay, James.
All right. James Crabb, representing the owners of 11 Pleasant Street. We came to you just a couple weeks back with a proposed garage studio. We made some dramatic changes to that, and I can walk you through them right now. Let's go to page 2. So the major changes that we made were there was previously an existing staircase that was connected to the main house existing deck that was already in place. We removed that to create a independent stair and landing, shifting the garage a couple feet forward. So now the two buildings are totally independent of one another. While they are still close, they're independent. You can see that a little bit better here on the site plan. So now there's a gap in between the two, as of right there before they were previously connected. The other major changes all had to do with, well, didn't all have to do with, was a major change to the height of the building. Previously, it was a full 2-story building. We have brought it down with dormers, brought it down 42 inches from the original ridge down to 21 foot 10. We also subsequently removed a pent roof, changed almost every single window now that everything came down, and also simplified the door from what previously was a glass door shaker panel with V-groove inside to just a solid V-groove door right now.
Okay.
And that was basically almost everything changed, just reduced the scope and brought it down. And that's it.
Sounds good. Thanks, James. You
Sure.
guys have reviewed Holly's comments, and we have an opportunity to ask questions. Mickey, does your group have anything?
Yes, we do. So this version is better than the last, but it still feels pretty squeezed into the back of his property. It really should be narrower, so it'll get a little further away from the house. It should be lower. It's still pretty tall, and probably shorter too. It's 30 feet long. That's probably more than needed. And the dormers are a problem too. The big shed dormers, there's a lot of shingled area around the windows. They should be broken up into at least 2 smaller dormers, and the exposed shingle area should be reduced. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, it is myself, Ray, Abby, Val, Angus, and Carrie as an alternate. Who'd like to go? Short declarative statements, please.
I'll be real short.
Thank you, Abby.
I've got nothing to say about the architecture, but thank you for bringing it down. But I do think that the siting of this garage is so close to the main house that it's almost like a Lego set that's going to click together. I mean, things are close in the OH, but not this close. And I just, doesn't even matter about the architecture, because I just think the siting of this and the size of it is just overwhelming the site. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Abby. Angus?
I agree with Abby as far as the crowding of the site and the program and the height. I appreciate it coming down, but it needs to come down more. And the proposed, I appreciate that there are no longer French doors coming out of the east side, and that the connection is no longer there. But as Abby's pointed out, it still reads that there's a connection, especially with the floor or the deck heights matching in that south elevation. So I think it needs to step back or step away, or it being the structure itself from the existing house, and the stair needs to not be associated with the house stair. So disappear more around the back or a different side or something different. And I agree about the dormers needing to shrink and articulate the eave line. That would help reduce the impact of its height. Thank you.
Thank you. And let's see, Ray?
Agree with everything that was said.
Okay, thanks. And that leaves Val?
I really didn't think it was all that horrible. With regard to the dormers, it would be great if at least one of them wasn't flush. And I think the simple answer to looking at the stair for the garage is to just put a fence there or something in between, or bushes, and nobody will know that that's there. It's seen on the flat, but in reality, it's pretty far back if you look at the plan. Aside from doing nothing, I don't see moving this forward is going to help the situation. And they're on the setback, so that's all I have.
Okay, thanks, Val. So my thoughts are that the stair goes inside the structure and you push the building back further and take 6 inches out of the first floor and the second floor. A 9'6" garage is nice and all. I don't have an issue with it, but and 7'6" ceilings. But given, James, what is the use of this structure?
It's a garage and a studio.
Yeah, so a garage and a studio with, in this location and given the heights, I think it needs to lose a foot, 6 inches, 6-inch each floor. And I guess the stair doesn't have to go in, but I think if you lost a foot in height, it will give you some room to work with the dormers. And I'm not talking about adjusting top plate heights other than as a result of lowering the top plate heights to lower the interior ceiling heights, not changing the roof pitches or anything like that. So those are my comments. We are at a point where it seems like there's a couple in favor, a couple who are opposed, and one who's kind of in the middle. I think this would be a hold for revisions, and James, I would just suggest it'll be your third one back, and we're going to start tightening up the lead, and forgive me the term, but the leash on these. So figure out what you got to do to make this happen, okay?
Mr. Chair,
Yeah,
move to hold for revisions.
thank you. Ray, on your motion,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Angus.
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
I'm an aye. And that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then go to the second PDF.
You want me to let Mike back in, or you want me to go to the
Yep,
second
go
one?
ahead. We're going to go to the addition.
Okay.
And then we're going to go to, did Michael come back?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm
go
here.
to Mike.
I'm here when you're ready.
Michael, we got one more and then we're going to come back to you.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, James.
Same location, same piece of property. This is an addition to the existing structure. Again, we have disconnected it from the garage as we discussed previously. Some of the initial comments we took to heart, one being the removal of the potential existing bay window. We brought that back, and subsequently we moved the building away from being coplanar with the existing wart on the side of the building, or the existing mass on the side of the building. So you can see essentially what we did was left the bay window, brought it forward, removed the two previous, we had previously forked 2 sets of ganged windows. We removed that. And then subsequently, we also changed an existing pair of full glass light doors to a triple swinging door with kick plates as per recommended. That was the bulk of the changes. We did receive the comments, or we did review the comments back from staff, noting some positive, some negative related to this. We look forward to your comments. Those are changes.
Thanks, James. We've all received Holly's comments, and Mickey, does your group have anything?
Yep, a little bit. So the second floor balcony is just not appropriate. That should be just eliminate the balcony completely and turn that into a shed roof. Also, the face of the addition is pretty close to the face of the adjacent gable to the right of it. It would be better additive massing if there was if there were more separation. So I would suggest pushing that at least another foot back. So the question about the bay window is, we don't really know how old this bay window is, if it's 100 years old or if it's 20 or 30 years old. And that helps to sort of determine whether this is a character defining feature of this house or not. Adding the bay to the face of a shed, 1-story shed addition like this is sort of awkward. It's because it doesn't really feel comfortable architecturally. So I would, if the bay window is determined to be relatively new, I would suggest eliminating it and just have the simple shed addition, and that works just fine. If it turns out to be a 100-year-old bay window, then maybe just keep the bay and forget about the shed addition as it is, because it doesn't really work well on the face of that addition. So thank you.
Thanks, Mickey. Who'd like to go next?
I can go.
Ray, please.
I agree with Mickey's comments. The bay on the 1-story, particularly if it's got a second floor deck above it, just doesn't work. That's not the way a bay is supposed to operate. That's my comment. Thank you.
Thanks, Abby.
Yeah, I agree with what's been said, and I think the staircase going down at the way back is just adding to the crowdedness of the building up this site. And I agree. I think that the way the existing bay window should just have a shed roof on the top.
Through the chair, just can I ask?
Thank you.
James, just hold on one second. I'll give you a chance at the end. We've got a couple more folks here.
Noted.
Val?
I agree with what's been said about leaving the bay if it's original or close to original, and making the addition more of a 1-story and eliminating the second floor deck. That's it.
Thank you. And Angus?
I agree with what's been said as well. And if the bay is deemed relatively new or sometime after 75, I would definitely step the addition back from that gable as what's suggested. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I agree generally. My primary concern is I think that second floor deck area is inappropriate if that were a shed roof. And if the bay window is not, 100-year-old, 80-year-old, 75-year-old structure. I'm not going to say 60 because that seems very young to me. Not that I'm 60, but I know someone who's turning 60 soon. Okay, so we're going to get a motion to hold for revisions. Is
That's
what I'm seeing.
so moved.
And
Oh,
can I add to that the specific information about the age of the bay window?
Yeah, so hold for revisions and specific additional information being the bay window age and just, can we hold that motion for a second? James, have you guys done any exploratory demo on this bay window?
Well, that's two things I wanted to address earlier. First, related to Abby's comment, the stair on the left is existing. Previously, it was connected before, so that's not new. We were just noting that it's no longer connected to the other building. This recently just went through rehab. The bay was original, but was fully rehabbed in basically 2024. So characteristically inside, it's probably very, very old, but it's also fairly new at certain places because it was in a state of disrepair. So it's tough to say without totally destroying it again, what's 100% new and what's 100% old. I wasn't part of the previous renovation, so short of ripping it apart totally, I can tell you it was originally old, and now it's fairly new. So
Okay.
just speaking to them.
Thanks, James. And then a follow-up question on that for our edification. What is the age of the window sash themselves? Are those
It's a mixed.
restored or are they new reproduction?
I believe in this, they were restored. On other parts of the house, it was restored. Other places, it's new. It's a mixed bag of TDLs from Green Mountain and some other things. In like the older part, plank frames up front were restored and brought up to speed where they could be. But towards the back of the house, they're a little, lack of a better term, less historic. So.
Okay. So I think what we're going to default to this, guys, is we want a little window survey sheet for the bay. That's what's left, if anything.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So just to clarify, this is a historic element, but parts of it have been restored or renovated. Some old, some new, but it was an original detail.
My understanding, yes. And what I'm looking for is, given that the framing is likely what was restored, quote unquote, with replacement, and James's comment that the windows were restored, that therefore maybe the windows are the most telling element of the structure. We can go by and view, but it'd be nice to have, I know Holly wants information in the file. So we'd want a completed window survey on the bay windows. James, we do want to hold for revisions. And was there another piece of information we wanted that was in this? I'm restating the motion that Angus made for the purposes of the minute makers, but by all means, you can restate it yourself, Angus.
There was consensus that there's no balcony and that it would be a shed roof, but we're holding for revisions and more information about the bay, including the window survey.
Perfect. Okay, so that's Angus's motion. Angus, on your motion.
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
Val?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, so now that moves us backwards to 7 Folger.
Thank you.
Michael's here.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, great. I will attempt to share my screen, but if not, there's no internet in New York City today, so let's see. Okay. Can you see
There
my
we go,
screen?
Michael. Yep.
All right.
we can
All
see
right.
ya.
Great. So, per the board's request, we actually put up new height poles. I know that Val had gone by and seen that the previous height poles were there from the prior application, but we adjusted them to be the exact size of this new application. I don't know if the board went for review this weekend as planned, but we also made revisions to this application, which I can quickly review here. I will skip ahead to the updated building elevations. So per your comments last time, we really skinnied up columns, added bases to the columns, added a cap to the column, added another step to the trim details, modified the chimney, which was previously a little bit of a monolithic, a little bit modern stone mass, and made it a brick chimney with a matching corbelled cap to match the house, and brought it way down in height, and gave it some shoulders and some step brick details, and brought everything just kind of down, and added some very, very sort of familiar details to the house that sits adjacent to it, to this pergola structure, which is still only 10 feet tall and now feels a little bit more appropriate next to the house that it sits next to. We also still think that it's not visible from any public way, and hopefully the viewing sort of showed that. I didn't go personally to see the height poles, but I think that's it. We hope that these changes are appropriate for the board and everybody is okay with this pergola at this point. So thank you.
Okay, thanks. We've reviewed comments. Mickey, does your group have anything?
Yeah, this is better and it's pretty close. The detailing could be a little more traditional if there was actual, you did mention caps on the columns and I don't see them on the drawing. If the columns had caps, I think this would be much more acceptable. And I guess that's okay. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Okay, the board is myself, Ray, Abby, Val, and Angus. Who'd like to be on?
I'll go.
Val.
I appreciate the changes, thank you, especially in the chimney. It's going to be natural brick, right? Not whitewashed?
That's correct. It's the same red brick as the house.
Okay, and is the pergola natural to weather?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Abby.
I think the proposed is just too modern and too large, and you can see it from Coffin Park. It's simple enough, that's for sure. I think it's just too modern a style.
Okay, thanks. Angus?
I agree with Abby. It's very contemporary, and when I was there this weekend, it was a beautiful day, and I parked up at Sunset Hill, and there's the oldest house on Nantucket, and you walk, past the goats and down through the field, and then I got to before I got to the bridge, I could see through the trees the frame that had been put out, and thank you for doing that so that we could see it. And then I actually took some photographs that I meant to forward to admin so that everyone could see it, with the bridge in the foreground and the entire frame in the background. So it is going to be visible, and from a place that I think it would be ironic to have something so contemporary next to Nantucket's oldest house. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ray?
Yeah, thanks. I respect the comments about the visibility and its modernity. I do appreciate the change to a more traditional chimney, though. And my own view of this is what's modern. Like, this really reminds me of the old grape arbors that you used to see all over the place, and those weren't modern. They were just like utilitarian. They were natural to weather. They had vines growing all over them. Whether or not this will or not remains to be seen. But I think I'm okay with this proposal. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thanks, Ray. I agree with Ray's comments. I just want to see a wine vine on it,
Yeah.
and we'll be good. Yeah, Nantucket Concord grapes, they're all over the place. They're wonderful. Pick them every year. What do we want to do?
I would move to approve this as submitted.
Okay. On your motion, Ray?
Aye.
Abby?
I'm a no.
Abby Camp, no for the record. Val?
Aye.
Angus?
No.
Angus McLeod, no for the record. I'm an aye. Okay, so that carries 3 in favor, 2 opposed. Thank you, everyone, for your opinions. They are valued. Let's see, 34 Liberty Street.
Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Laddie's house.
Do we have a rep?
Yeah, it's Sean.
Yes.
He used to work with
Sean.
us at Plus. He's online.
Yes.
Evening, Sean.
Hi, good evening, everybody. How are you?
Good. Are you going to present, or are you going to ask staff to kindly proceed through the presentation?
Yes, if it's possible, because it's kind of hard to do the sharing right here. I'm not in front of my computer.
Okay, what do you want to start on? Let us know.
Yeah, I'm ready anytime. It's just, after the last meeting, I tried to do my best with the detailed window survey. And I went back and I took the close-up pictures and I filled up all the details of each window and the door, the front door.
Yeah.
I hope I did. I tried to do my best, to be honest with you,
Okay.
with presenting. And after actually the last week storm, now we noticed there's 2 more windows started leaking badly on
Okay.
the front of the house.
All right. Thank you. Let's see. You guys have read Holly's comments, I'm sure. And Mickey, do you guys have anything?
Yeah, so, these windows in the photograph, at least, they're sash-weighted windows. They look fairly old. I don't know how old they are years-wise, but and also in the photos, it doesn't reflect a lot of rot. It shows that they need upkeep and painting and probably some glazing, but they look serviceable. So I would suggest that these be restored rather than replaced. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the board is myself, Abby, Vale, Angus, and Joe Paul. Joe, good evening.
Good evening.
Who would like to begin?
I can go, Mr. Chair.
Abby.
I just agreed with what Mickey said. I looked at the photographs, I studied them. It looks like they could be restored, so I would be much more in favor of that than replacing them. Thank you.
Okay. Let's see, Val.
Well, given how far away it is from the road, I really don't have a preference for them being restored if it's going to be better for the house to have better windows. I don't know what the vintage is, but I've been in this house a million times and they just look rowdy. And Holly's comments were about the door surround. Are you replacing the front door? That wasn't clear.
I am replacing the front door. Every window and the door going to be custom made and custom sized to every little detail. So everything going to look the same exactly as it is right now with the new windows and the door. And then with the surround, I'm going to try to do my best to save them and put them back. But there's a couple of small little details. They've rotted. So I'm going to just mimic them and bring it back to the same how it looks right, as existing.
Thank you.
Anything else, Val? Okay. Oh, let me see. Joe.
Regarding the door surround, I think Holly was looking for some clarification on that, and I appreciate that the applicant wants to replicate it. I think that needs to be documented really well. I think we need to, or at least the staff needs to see a detailed drawing of that shows field measurements and a cross section through this, because it's an important architectural feature on the house. And it's hard to tell regarding the windows. I'm fine with a replacement with true divided lights that the applicant has requested. Although if it's possible to repair some of these, if it's just glazing, great. It looks like some of the sash and some of the stiles are rotten. So it looks like the integrity of some of these double hungs are really compromised, and it's more than just a maintenance repair on some. But I think it looks like there needs to be more documentation of the windows. to, prove the case that you need to replace all of them and not repair them. And I have a question for the applicant. What's happening with the shutters?
The shutters, they will be removed because the owner of the house, he doesn't want to see the shutters. But if you guys recommend and if you guys want me to, I can try to restore them or try to get the new shutters and put them back.
Okay.
I
Joe?
mean, I think the shutters, and these look like operable shutters, or at least they were operable at one point. I think that's an important feature of the house, especially here on the front facade. And those are my comments.
Thank you. So, Sean, I would just want to get a clarification. The shutters were removed?
No, they actually part of decoration right now. They're not operable. They hold it by screws on the wall on the shingles.
Okay, but they
And
are there.
yes, they're there right now. Correct.
Okay, and then I agree with Joe's comments wholeheartedly, and I would just add a half-inch detail, which is the elevation and section of the frontis. And I agree that I think windows to be replaced need to be identified and then have a straight-on shot. We've got kind of representative imagery, but like in a window survey, it would be, this is the window number such and such that we're proposing to replace, and here's a exterior clear shot, interior clear shot, sill shot, so we can make a determination, because there's not a vote, there doesn't appear to be consensus vote for approving this as outright replacement, so that's the next step. Angus?
Oh, I don't know. Did I speak on this?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you did.
I agree that so far I'm not seeing evidence other than neglect with these windows, and I don't see anything that can't be restored. So I would definitely be in favor of restoration over, a new window in these cases. Thank you.
So I think where we are is we need a motion for a half-inch elevation and section detail of the frontis. And if any windows are going to continue to be proposed to be removed, that they're better documented with a window key on the elevation and imagery keyed to that reference.
Can I get clarification?
Yes.
Mr. Chair? Okay, I wanted to know, are we just talking about the whole front door surround with the side, when he wants to replace that?
He wants to replace the door itself, and then in doing so, he's going to need to dismantle the trim. So we're saying we want documentation so it can be rebuilt.
No, I absolutely agree with Joe Paul that this is another character defining thing of this house. So I think that's a good idea. Thank you.
Okay, so the motion again is half-inch detail elevation section, additional window information keyed to the elevation, and there was one other thing that I didn't mention. No, I think that's going to be it for now. Whose motion is that?
The shutters?
Oh, the shutters, that the shutters will, let's get some information on the shutters, and if any are proposed to be removed or replaced, we need documentation like with the windows.
Yes, it should be part of the application.
Yes. Abby, is that your motion?
Yes.
Sean, you got all that?
Yes.
Sensitive structure, so sensitive approach. Okay, Abby, on your motion?
I'm an aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Angus?
Hi.
Dale? And I'm an aye. Okay, we are on to 25 Hussey Street. It's
Thank you very much.
16-ish. we're gonna share the screen, or what's? Oh, we can't see. Oh, great, okay. Thanks, Joe. When you're ready.
Hi, this is Joe Paul for the applicant. This is 25 Hussey Street. It's a guest cottage, and it's being connected to the existing garage that's there, which we have an application in for a demo. We've reviewed it as a demo or reconstruction. So the plan would be to remove that structure and reconstruct it in that location. So the right-hand side of the guest house is the existing salt box shape of the garage. Then the center portion is the guest quarters, and then there's an attached shed to this structure. There were comments from Holly, and there were some concerns from an abutter that we decided to pull our previous submission and make revisions to this for the last old business deadline. So that's what we're about to look at. On this page that's here, one clarification I wanted to make is that these contours are from the town GIS, and the lot, it's a tricky lot relative to grade. As you come into the lot, on the right-hand side is the driveway, and you'll see in a couple of pages, there's about an 18 to 24 inch retaining wall along the whole right side of the driveway, with the neighbor's yard being taller. And then in the back of this, towards Academy Hill, there's a failing retaining wall, and there's a 3 to 4 foot grade difference on the back. And then the grade drops on the left towards the house that's along Lily Street. And so if you could scooch down just a little bit, you'll see the street view there with a glimpse. You can see the garage that's there. So our plan is to keep that streetscape intact. And then if you scooch up on the plan, or the next page, sorry. There we go. Okay, so this I wanted to show, this large picture that's here in the center, just to clarify what's happening with the grade. So the lowest grade on the lot, which is essentially the yard, is the driveway and this lawn area. And you can see the existing garage to the right. And our structure is proposed to go in this area where the garden is, which you can see is stepped up 18 inches. We're planning on dropping this lot down 18 inches on the back so that there isn't a step up anymore. There was some confusion that we were building on the highest part of the lot. But the reality is we're retaining on the right side and in the back, and we're down a couple of feet on the right and 3 or 4 feet on the back. And by dropping this elevated lawn area down, will also mitigate the grade change to the property on Lily Street. If you move up to the next page, you'll see, so here's actually the next page up. I guess down is really what I mean. There we go. So here's some context photos. Upper left is the retaining wall on the drive. And on the next photo to the right is the side of the garage. And we're currently like almost on the property line. So the plan is to shift this garage about 2.5 feet or 3 feet to the left so that it's actually zoning compliant. Then the next photo is the rear of the existing garage, and then you can see the retaining wall, which is really out of wood from the Academy Hill side that's kind of caving in to our property. So our plan is to stabilize that on the interior of our property, and our structure will go where the existing garage is. And then the bottom photo on the left you've already seen, and the bottom right is the current view from Academy Hill looking down on top of this. The next page is a comparison of the previous submission where we had a cupola, which we've removed, and we also had a person door going into the garage that was elevated, and we've dropped that down. And you'll see on the larger scale drawings, we've tried to make some grade clarifications here. If you can go to the next page, please. Okay, so the next page on the right, the upper right, there's along the grade of this, there's a red line that indicates the existing grade that's there. So we've cut that down, and we're keeping the existing profile of the garage on the right. That was one of Holly's comments. You can see that salt box shape that's there. And this is 23 feet from the interior of the lot, and it's 19 and change in height from the Academy hillside. And there were a couple comments about the overall size of this. I think the overall length is about 61 and a half feet from left to right, but the left 15 feet is less than 14 feet tall. And on the right, that existing garage, it's exactly the same height. It's 14'8". That ridge height's not changing. I think in closing, if you could go back up to the first page, that would be helpful. I just wanted to show that our site strategy relative to the massing of this, we originally had the main guest house all the way to the left so that the guest house would enjoy the view of the yard because they have a beautiful garden. But we pivoted, the owners and I, to shift 50% of the story and a half mass behind the rear L of this house so that only part of it overlaps the yard. And we took the existing shed structure that's attached to their garage, and we've attached it to the left side of this so that the lowest side was towards the neighbor on Lily Street. So we were trying to tuck this behind the rear L of the main house, and I would maintain that it won't be visible from there. And then the back side on Lily Street is just a simple shed dormer with, I don't know, 3 windows in it. And that's it.
Okay, thanks, Joe. You guys, we have the comments. Mickey, does your group have anything?
Stephen, your mic.
Yeah.
Mickey, does your group have anything?
Yeah, we do. Okay,
The neighbors
so
are here.
some of the detailing on this has a little bit of a contemporary feel to it. I think we'd like to see corner boards on this back building. The window configuration is a little, doesn't feel very traditional barn or outbuilding. I think that the windows could be simplified and made just to make it feel a little bit more like a barn.
Try that.
The shed dormer in the rear is a little problematic. It's too wide. Got too much shingled area. And if that could be broken up into 2 and reduced the amount of exposed shingle area, that would be suggested. And that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Kathy, there's a butters, is that what I
Yeah,
hear?
that's me. They're having trouble getting on. I'm representing them.
Well, we can't hold up the wheels of
No,
motion here.
I'll
You're
go.
going to
I know
speak
what
for
they're
them?
gonna say, so.
Okay.
We have spoken to them. I have spoken to Joe. He's 7 hours ahead of us, so it's late for him. We're concerned about the size in particular. Where are the people to the left? See the house to the left up there? And the one right above it, the direct abutters up there. It's 61 feet long of construction. If you look at, I don't know if Fiona can bring up my submission. The garage is from 1935 and before, because it is the same garage carrying through. Our neighbors are right there and the one right above it. That one and the one right above it. Yes. We're concerned about the length it is completely visible above the grade from what I'm not sure all of you are aware of the fact that it's Crown Court. There's actually a road going through the middle of Academy Hill parking lot. There's also a public way going up the hill from Lily Street, that is Sunset Pass. So it's completely visible above the wall from that side. And nothing in that entire area on a secondary structure is 61 feet long. It's out of scale, it is too big, it's too tall. They're gonna excavate into the, right up to the 5-foot setback, but they're gonna have to excavate even further for the walk down, right on top of a grade change of 6 to 8 feet down to the guys on Lily. It is completely visible from there because they're gonna take down the sycamore, which is an invasive tree anyway. So we're concerned about all of that. We're concerned about the small scale of the existing garage. This doesn't track with the main house, bless you. Doesn't track with the main house at all architecturally. It's just too massive, too long, totally out of scale, and we're just concerned about the visibility from Lily Street in particular and from Crown Court, because there's no way to hide this thing. It's just gonna loom above everybody down on Lily Street, as well as impact those small structures, which you have pictures of right there from Lily. But I gave you the aerials from 35, 40, 57, 75, and currently, and that is the same garage that's existed all the way through, so it's an historic structure under, the Secretary of the Interior standards. So we've got a lot of issues with it, and they're the pictures from Lily Street.
Thank you,
But
Ms.
if you haven't
Williams.
taken a view yet,
Please wrap it up.
I would suggest that you take a view from Academy Hill, from Sunset Pass, from Lily, and have them put ridge poles up, perhaps, so you can see exactly where it terminates and how
Linda?
tall it is.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other persons who'd like to speak from the abutters or on the Zoom?
No, I don't see anybody in the queue.
Okay. So again, I know it's been a little while. Myself, Ray, Abby, Angus, and Connie. Who'd like to go?
I can start.
Ray, please, thank you.
All right. So, of course, this building is larger than the little garage that's there right now, but I really applaud and respect the idea of saving the sort of massing as seen from Hussey Street of the existing garage. It's kind of like staying as much of what it looks like right now as it possibly can. And I also, some of the comments that Mickey and his group made, I definitely am in line with, like the fenestration. I was looking at the fenestration. I think there are things that can be done to simplify it. And Mickey at a certain point used the term modern, but bringing back the corner boards, making the fenestration harmonious. But in terms of the height, I think it's 21 feet high, at the high point. So this is not an immense structure. And of course, yes, it's long, but a lot of buildings downtown are. Thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Let's see, Connie?
I have to agree with what Ray just said. I don't have a lot to add. I would agree with simplifying if possible, but generally, I am okay with this. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Angus?
I agree with a lot that's been said, maintaining the scale and proportion as you look from Hussey Street back the driveway to the historic garage. My concern really is with that perspective and feeling of that area at Crown Court. I think that's the name of it, up at Academy Hill. And I think that ideally the height would come down a little bit, or if the building scooted towards the south a little bit so that there was room to bring an eave lower and separate so there wouldn't be a flush dormer. I'm seeing a stair in there, and that's not our purview, but if there were a setback there and the dormer wasn't coming all the way out flush, I think that would read simpler and not dominate that north face. That's really my prime concern. The rest, I think, is either obstructed by the house or appropriately designed. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, Abby.
I think moving the garage kind of loses its purpose a little bit because now you just see it as an angle. You just catch a glimpse of it, whereas now you look down the driveway and you see the garage door. So I'm kind of missing that. I thought when you came back for revisions that we would see something smaller. I thought we had all had concerns about the height of this, especially seen from Crown's Court, that this is going to look very odd, sort of being this tall and, sort of taller than the cars on the, it's just going to be a new view, but it's going to look odd, just poking its head above the court. I guess it's called a court. I also think the proposed is too long and too large for the site. And, personally, I'd like to see that reduced. So I think the height, the length, and I'm not sure about moving the garage from where it's existing is a good idea. So, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Abby. Okay, so that leaves me, I think. So, Joe, I appreciate the changes. I'll tell you, my two primary concerns are vegetative screening from the rear, from the north, I guess. And I think the evergreens they're showing are going to be challenging to implement. So you're probably looking at like European hornbeam. So you're getting something taller to block some of the, looking into the court and then the court looking into the second floor. I think the exposure from the court is minimal. It's not like a thoroughfare or heavily traveled. It's a court. So it will definitely be different, but it's not, to my mind, going to be, in 10 years, it's going to be there and it's going to be older and it's going to be settled and it's not even going to be noticed. It's going to be like going down the court and seeing another house in a way. My biggest concern actually is the driveway, the view down the length of the driveway, looking at the garage doors. I think those are just too contemporary, atypical, and more along the lines of a simple picture frame vertical or just vertical boards is appropriate. The rest of the architecture, I mean, it's simple. It has additive massing in a spread fashion. It is, I don't think it's inappropriate. I mean, it looks kind of like a Quaker barn that somebody built onto. So I'm not terribly concerned about it, given its location primarily behind the structure and again, hidden to a large extent except for the dormer from the court. Those are my comments on that one. What do we want to do, folks?
I would move to hold for revisions and have the demo to track.
Okay. And
that was Ray.
Ray. Okay, yeah, Joe, I'm having difficulty finding a big consensus points on revisions, but you'll have to hit rewind on that tape, okay?
Yeah, no, I appreciate all the comments, and I just wanted to say that we're definitely not trying to make it contemporary. We just didn't want to make it feel like we were replicating a house from the 1700s. But
Gotcha.
I appreciate all the comments, and I think I have my next steps in mind. Thank you.
Okay, great. So on that, Ray, on your motion?
Aye.
Angus?
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. And that dispenses with the next track, and that moves us to 14 Dukes, which was a view. Good evening.
Good evening. Sorry to be taking more of your time.
That's right. All's well that ends well.
That remains to
So
be
let's
seen,
see
yeah.
where we end.
I submitted a different, more detailed drawing just to give you a feel for the property. And I think all of you probably can figure out what's there. But the key points to know with regard to the project being proposed is I'm looking to put a gate that will exclude deer in the front where there's the red coloration, and attach that to existing fence, which is indicated by the blue section. The comments were made last time that perhaps a gate with a different design would be more acceptable, and I included a picture of such a gate and said, well, that's my second choice, because I have doubts. That would be option A. It's just a straight up square, and that would be option B. And that's not, that's not exactly proportionate there, but it's a picture of an existing gate. That's proportionate. That's an island gate. It's 8 by 8. I personally think that's a bit busy with the extra hanging diagonals, and I would limit it to just one and replicate the hanging diagonal on each side of each panel, and just to open it up a little bit more. And there would be some wire in there structurally.
Okay. Anything else?
So that's to do with the gate. Headline alert, my immediately adjacent neighbor on the east side totally cleared the fence line on his side of the fence. And, but as I understand it, he's, got a plan to put shrubs in there the whole length of it. So right now, the fence that exists along the, the eastern fence line is visible from the street, and because of the removal of the bramble that it was buried in. Most of the rest of the fence, including what I would have, what I do have at the front, is going to be buried in privet or other shrubs that'll do that job.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
Yes.
So, Val?
Oh, sorry, as a neighbor?
Carrie? Well, actually, we're going to do questions from the commissioners first,
Okay.
and then we'll go to
Thank
neighbors.
you.
Val?
Thank you for this. I went this morning super early because I knew I could get in there and look and see
Thank you
everything.
for that effort.
So a couple of questions. One, the existing fence that's on the road, you can see the vegetation's behind it. Are you going to supplement?
So, what I have going right now is planning on the inside, and if you want to have privet on the outside, that's not a problem at all. I can do that.
I don't think it necessarily needs to be privet. It could be just some bushes,
Something.
but we typically want the fence inside
Right.
or woven in the.
John, please, I don't, and Val, just please state what you want, just to tell them, instead of us having a discussion. That's all.
Okay, and then my second question is the wire fence that goes across the driveway now.
Yeah,
You're gonna have,
that wire fence is a
John?
temporary, oh,
Hold on.
Yeah.
Val, please finish your thought.
I'm having a hard time imagining the gate couched in the wire fence.
What do you think is appropriate instead?
I'm just trying to understand it, because maybe I'm not understanding it
can I
appropriate.
explain?
Why don't you refer us to the image so we have something concrete to look at?
The
Okay,
next
well,
picture.
the image of the perimeter of the property, which we were just looking at, that gate would be 10 feet off the property line and about 15 feet off. Keep going, there. Oop, just passed it. There we go. And so you see the red line up there, that gate, that line is 10 feet off of the property line. And it is 16 to 18, as best I can make out, from the roadbed. The wire fence that I believe Val was speaking of is a temporary structure that I have had up all winter to keep the deer out of my yard. And that is an ugly and temporary thing, I hope.
Okay, so thank you, that helped me understand that. And then the only other question I had was where it says 25 feet in the blue. Right now, that is a split rail fence and,
Right now, there's a split rail fence along that entire side of the property. And what I would be doing is carrying the metal post, or if the powers that be want a wooden post, I can do a wooden post, but take it up to the front corner and then attach that to the gate, thereby having a high barrier to deer around the property.
So this, John, I just got to tell you, this is unnecessarily confusing.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't show us where the proposed fence will be to replace the split rail.
It does in the sense that that blue line is right there. It would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have more questions than I have a few when you're done?
yeah, and will there be vegetation
Yeah, it's
and all
just
that?
not
Yeah.
clear to us what's actually being proposed. Number one, you show a split rail fence on what I presume is the western side of the property.
Correct.
You're proposing how tall, a 7-foot
7 foot.
fence where?
Just like, there are 3 split rail posts.
No. Where are you proposing a 7-foot wire fence?
On.
Where is it showing?
Right immediately adjacent to the split rail.
Is it all those black dots?
So you're saying immediately adjacent, so you're saying there's a black property line here and this is going to be 7-foot fence?
Well, that
What's
is,
going to be here?
that's an existing fence.
What's going to be here, John?
It is a metal post and wire fence,
How tall?
7 feet.
And what's here?
Same.
Okay, and was this previously approved?
I built it myself. I replaced a falling down fence for the most
So it
part.
wasn't previously approved. And then here?
Is a newly installed replacement of a wire fence.
And here?
There's still some wire in there. It's buried behind a lot of bramble, which was really kind of the bramble everywhere. The problem, well, there was.
Okay, that's fine, that's sufficient information. So for me, what's basically being presented is that it's an incomplete application. We're not being given an opportunity to retrospectively weigh in on a fence that wasn't approved and that doesn't appear to meet our guidelines because it's drawn on the property line, whereas we typically request these to be a minimum of, I'd say, 7 to 10 feet in from the property line. I believe at the last hearing, I specifically requested that you would show us what's existing, and it seems to be hidden under these little black dots of plant material and the concept of a split rail fence.
Well, those are.
John, I'm just telling you, we need a complete application. It needs to be simplified. You have a 3-foot wall surrounding your parking area. I don't believe is relevant to this application. It's a distraction. You're looking to extend a non-approved fence, which is a 25-foot extension on the northwestern corner. You're looking to put in a gate that we told you is not appropriate at the last hearing. And you haven't shown us the other perimeter fencing accurately located so that we can decide if we are going to leave it there or make it be moved. So I think the application drawing needs to be revised to show what was just stated so that we can be acting on it and it will be the basis for a future decision. You're welcome to have it in next week if you meet the deadline, but we're not going to be working on something that is incomplete.
Okay.
Carrie, you can please
Thank you.
go ahead.
As a resident of Dukes Road, there are not any gates to driveways on Dukes Road. It's a dirt road. And I beg that we don't start something here for 15-foot, 8-foot high gates. I do think you can solve your deer problem by putting the invisible mesh fence that you already have set back beyond your driveway into your property to be invisible, as the fence that you already have is quite invisible and very tall. But I think a wooden gate like this is just an anomaly on this road and not appropriate at all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Does anyone, I mean, you guys are welcome to speak. We kind of outlined where we had concerns, and I think by stating the gate is inappropriate and asking for the other fencing material to be put on the site plan, we may have enough, but if anyone wants to speak on this now, I certainly won't prevent you from doing it.
Mr. Chair,
Ray?
I will only say at this point, for the benefit of the applicant, that I would accept option 2 in a much simplified form. I can't believe that the board would have approved that as built, but there's my comment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So please reconsider the gate, give us some pictures of others. You've got the neighbors' comments.
Yep,
And you
very much
have ours. We're
appreciated.
looking for a complete application, simplified, 2 colors max.
Mr. Chairman, one question.
Yeah.
Would a cattle guard be even considered?
Probably not.
Probably not?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I just wanted to know
Yeah.
before barking
No,
up
fair
another.
enough. Fair enough
Yep.
question. Yeah, we're
And-
not
and
here
a
to be a
direct enough
roadblock. We
answer.
just need to get it.
All right, I'm not going to be able to get this, back to you in the next
We will
week.
be here the following week.
Okay.
So just meet the deadline and you'll be in and we'll put you up. We've asked you to bring back additional information, so, okay?
All right.
Thank you. So the motion was Val for revised drawings and additional information.
Sure, I'll make that my motion.
So on your motion,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
okay, thanks, the passage unanimously. Okay. So we are now on to 37 Cliff. Matt? Well, that's what I want, to be able to have the drawing.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean,
Good evening, Matt.
good evening.
Your board is myself, Ray, Abby, Val, Angus, and your alternate is Connie.
Okay.
And Godspeed to us all, Matt.
Yeah, all right, Godspeed. So thank you. So this is an application to demolish a garage, an attached garage. I think the board had requested that we alter the rafter detail on the pergola, which I believe we've done. We also had a slightly tapered column and an elongated tail, which is kind of leaning a bit more contemporary. So we went with a more traditional profile, so I think that's included in the packet or in the revised submission. So with that, look forward to comments from the board, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. You guys saw Holly's comments. Mickey, you guys got anything?
No concerns.
Okay. Does anyone have any concerns with this?
No.
No.
That was
No.
Ray.
Gotcha. Thanks, Ray. Does no concerns, motion?
Motion to approve as submitted.
Thank you,
Val.
Matt. Val on your motion.
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Angus.
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Carries unanimously.
Thank you very much.
49 Meadowview Drive, new gate, hold until 6/3 per applicant. 10 Straight Wharf, hold until 6/3 per applicant. God, I was gonna say that's so far away, but it's not.
It's next week.
Okay, 5 Meter Street, the same. Okay, that's gonna bring us into new business. I'm gonna need my little tally sheet. 31 India Street, door replacement.
Yes, Joan Guzman is online.
Joan Guzman, step right up.
Hey, I'm online right now. How you guys? Sorry.
I'm sorry?
So yeah, I'm on Zoom right now. So this is a application for a brand new door. Well, for a new door, that like type over at 31 India. We gotta go off from Shapley to get the same door that we have installed right now, the existing one. So we would like to replace the door. We have our inspection back in March for the health department, and they requested a new door. We have worked and like kind of fixed the door as much as we could, but it's getting to the point where the door is falling apart. So we just we are kind of running out of time and like options and to fix it.
Okay, so what is the material you're proposing to replace with?
If you go back to the QO, the one that we got from Shapley, sorry. Right there.
Yeah, no, that's not, bear with me just a minute. I thought this was the like kind application.
It is, yes.
So why are we looking at it?
It's because it's the windows and with the door as well.
Which will also be just the same.
Okay. I mean,
Is-
do you guys mind if I suggest that we request a half-inch detail of the elevation in a section to replicate what exists, and then that's what gets approved?
Yeah, we're doing exactly like what it says right now. We just getting like.
Hold on a second, Joan. We're
sorry.
just actually talking here at the board. And I think an elevational plan view of the sill too, because this looks interesting and all, but it's definitely not square and whatnot. So let's get,
Mr. Chair,
yes.
Ray has his hand up.
Ray?
Hey, it's interesting. The Shepley invoice calls for a 3.0 door. I got a feeling that's not a 3.0 opening.
Yeah.
So it's not as simple as just replacing a door. They're probably looking for egress, but that door is probably a 2.6 or maybe a 2.8 door. I mean, I could be wrong, but
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you, but I mean, unless they're renovating the house, they aren't actually compelled to put a wider door in there.
Mr. Chair, Mickey has his hand up, but I know for a fact that this was from the health department because I think it was falling apart. They needed to repair it, so
Okay,
from that
but
perspective, but
the health code
the
they get into
housing
egress?
code. No, it was falling apart, so it's to prevent rats, to prevent bugs coming in and
Right.
and moisture and all that, so.
Okay,
But Mickey has his hand raised.
so Mickey, briefly, please.
Yeah, the only thing I'm noticing on the Shepley invoice is that they're STLs rather than TDLs. That's,
Yeah, and that's why I don't want to approve that. I think we need to establish a design performance standard, and the design is to document what exists, and then we can approve it as such, and then they can order what they need to match a true like-kind replacement. So Joan, what that means is, these are TDLs, so TDLs would go in. It's a wood door would go in. The dimensions of the widths of the door, of the side lights, the heights, the dimensionality will all be on a drawing at an accurate half-inch scale, including the columns and so on and so forth, so that the town's preservation planner, who is a liaison to the HDC, can review it against the images, make a determination that it is indeed a like-kind replacement, and we can all move on with life. Well, they're going to have to replace it with a like kind. So what that means is actually defined as the same. Yeah, 6-panel with the same molding profile, the panel profile, the rails and style profiles.
So, Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
so this is a regular application that you all review. And so you're asking for the preservation planner to review it and approve it?
We're asking for this to be a like kind application because that's the only thing we're going to
Well, the
approve.
reason that you were reviewing it, Holly said because the windows were included with the door, so that was the whole reason why it was brought before you. Otherwise, it would have been on a like-kind application.
Right.
But it's not a like-kind replacement, the door. The door is SDL they're proposing.
Right.
The side lights, yeah. So what we're saying is we're saying to the applicant to revise your application to be a like-kind application and submit the drawings that are appropriate to document what it is you're replicating, including the materials. The windows are the side light sash are TDL, and the door material and so on and so forth. And a half-inch scale drawing should be appropriate. You can do a 1-inch, I wouldn't mind.
So you want them on a like-kind for Holly to review?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Yeah. For this one,
Yep.
given its location and so on and so forth.
So the door
Sorry,
and the side
Mr.
lights.
Chair,
Yeah.
given this historic, nature of this application, the the door surround itself is being renovated, correct? As is? It's not being redone. They're going to renovate those columns and.
Joan, my understanding, your intention is to replace the door and the side lights, correct?
That's correct. So right now it's just the doors and the side panel because they're falling apart as well. We had Shapley come twice to like revise the measurements. So as of right now, those measurements are the same that we have.
Okay, and then the next question is, you're not touching, other than to remove and replace the door and the side lights, the rest of the columns or otherwise, correct?
That's correct. All we're touching is the panel and the door. Just
Okay.
to like install the new one, which is the same measurements.
Right, and then we're asking for a drawing that details the trim, the columns, the caps, the door, the side light, and their relationships to one another accurately. Abby, so I think that answers your question,
Thank you
right?
very much.
Okay, just to be sure we all have the same information.
I have one question. Is this a replacement door? I mean, do we have any historic photos of this with the door being replaced? Does it make sense for it to be, what if it was a 4-panel door or something else? It would be great to see any sort of historic documentation of this facade or door.
I'm not sure how to answer that. If we're going to review it as a full-on application, we can make the request. If he's going to submit this as a like-kind application, then, that door has obviously been there a while, and it's what he would be replacing, so they would be in their rights to just request that they replace what's there. I'm not suggesting either way, I'm just saying it would, how we get in, if we get into what was there 50 years ago or 40 years ago or something it will depend on the application.
Yeah, it was different in the 70s.
In the 70s.
Yeah, it was one of those picture window doors. I have one of those.
Yeah.
It's like,
so-
it's not historic. It is historic, but it's not.
But, so Joan, I guess I'm struggling with this because it's just something I don't think we should have in front of us. You're looking to replace, as per your own text, I presume you filled out the application, a like-kind replacement. Is
That's
that
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So the way to handle this is to complete a like-kind application, provide the drawings we requested, let the process go through. If additional information is requested, just simply be aware that what you're presenting is to replace exactly what's there and be consistent. Otherwise, you will lose time in the process, which you have now, unfortunately.
Is that my motion?
I think that should just be a motion to request this be converted to a like-kind application and provided with
Half scale
one, or even a 1-inch detail elevation and section.
of what's existing.
Yeah.
Do you think this should be over, do you think Holly should help with this application?
No, Abby, because Holly doesn't provide design services. She will provide review services. We are requesting that he provide her the information so she can efficiently review it. And once she determines that it meets the like-kind standard, she can sign off on it. If she's not a design interactive service.
Yeah, I just want to make sure he understands what we want, the applicant.
Well,
Sorry.
we can only hold so many hands in a day. Can somebody please make a motion that this be turned into a like-kind application, subject to a 1-inch scale elevation and section and TDLs?
So moved.
On the motion, it'll be the regular board, Angus,
Aye.
Abby,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
and I'm an aye.
So, Mr. Chair, you want to withdraw this application then? We'll
Yeah.
have to withdraw
This
it.
is presented as a like kind.
Yes.
It's a,
I understand.
Yeah, you guys stop, please.
Well, you're
Yes,
asking him
that's
to
why we're
resubmit it.
we're redirecting him through the proper process so that we are not going to be involved in it. Because it can be handled properly in the proper process. 19 Lily Street, color change, self. Who's self? Oh, Elizabeth. Is Elizabeth with
She
us?
was gonna have somebody online.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth's daughter. I'm standing in for her.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. How are you? We have owned our house for 25 years, and we're kind of looking for a refresh. Our front, the clapboards need to be repainted. And so we driven around the neighborhood, kind of looked through some different colors, and we're looking to do a light blue. We proposed Nantucket fog, which we tried on the front of the house. We're going to leave the trim white. We found that this color provided enough of a contrast. And then we proposed doing the front door a Hamilton blue, which was listed on the town site as already an HGC approved color. But everything else would remain the same. It would just be the front clapboards that would change to the Nantucket fog color, also known as a Santorini blue. And then change the front door to a Hamilton blue.
Okay, thank you. You guys have read Holly's comments. Mickey, do you guys have anything?
Yeah, it's very hard to tell colors on the internet and digitally. It looks very blue and perhaps a little too blue. So that was really our only comment.
Okay. Too blue is in needs more gray, or too blue is in needs to be a different color?
More gray.
More gray. Okay, just to, check.
Thanks.
The board is going to be Angus, Ray, me, Joe, and Carrie. Does anyone have a conflict on that? Okay. Pardon me? Joe, are you here? Joe's not here. Connie? Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's, just for clarifications, the numbering system is different, so, 1634, okay. Connie, you're on. Mickey,
Mr. Chair,
yeah, Ray?
I can begin.
Okay, just one moment, please. Mickey, you brought this up, so I want to clarify. The color coding, the coloring that I'm seeing online is a lighter blue with less gray than the swatch that's been provided. And the swatch that is located or oriented horizontally below the Nantucket fog sample with the star on it and number 1634 is a little bit closer to the gray. There's actually even more gray in the blue than is shown there, just so you're aware.
Yeah, I think that's in the right direction, but it still seems kind of blue, maybe if a deeper shade of, a little more gray in it.
Yeah, okay, thanks. Ray, go ahead, please.
Actually, you beat me to it, Stephen. So you guys are looking at the actual chip? Because all I'm looking at is what I see online, on the computer. And it would be great to see it like in situ if we could.
Yep. Well, when you are here, we will show it to you.
Yeah. Well, I'll defer to the other members.
Okay, sounds good. So you guys, just to have looked at it, this is the one.
Yeah.
It's much greater.
I'm not saying that it's, I'm just saying.
They also did a sample on the side of the building.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
hold on, please. Hold on. Okay, Angus, did you see this?
Yes. What I was noticing was that the gray in the real-life sample is a lot grayer and less blue than
Yeah.
it is
It's-
portrayed in
there's-
video.
We've lost the robin's eggs effect of blue.
I think up against the putty color, it reads as very light blue because it's contrasting with that ugly putty color.
Ugly putty.
But I would like to see it next to the brick as well in real life, personally. And then I also am wondering about the, under the stair, is that changing?
Okay, so let's ask Carrie, I'm sorry, the applicant's daughter's name again?
Cassie.
Cassie. Hi, Cassie. So Cassie, what is intended, if any, change on the boards under the stair?
I think are also open. I think the intention was kind of maybe to leave it as it blends in with a little bit of the bushes that do grow in the summer months,
Okay.
but are also open to your suggestions.
Okay, and then the other,
They're dead in that color in that picture, but they do grow quite a bit tall and cover probably half of that stairway in the summer months. But we are open to your suggestion.
okay, yeah, I mean, it'll be our determination to make. The question on the blue paint on the clapboard, that's all one color?
No.
Those are three that we tested out. It's the bottom one. We found
Yeah,
that
that's what I thought.
the top two are very close to the white of the trim of the windows. So it's the third color if you were to drive by.
So is everyone comfortable with that we pick this up next week, subject to the leftmost corner, lowest three clapboards, 2 feet long by 3 clapboards or 4 clapboards high is painted the 1364 sample, which is what is it? 1634. Sorry, a little dyslexia. Is the 1634. So again, it'll be the lower left corner of the front, 4 clapboards high, 2 feet wide, so we can see it next to the brick against the corner board that is white and the copper downspout.
So moved.
And the Newport Blue door, also, we need to consider that.
Well, yeah, I mean,
So,
we can.
just to think about it.
Okay.
Keep it in mind.
Okay, no, fair enough.
Hamilton.
On your motion, Angus?
Aye.
Ray?
Aye.
Me? Aye. Carrie?
Aye.
Connie?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Can you guys actually get that, Cass, can you get that painted this week and we'll just put it on the agenda? What do we need to, you know what? If you could follow up with Kathy Flynn in the office,
Okay,
and she'll tell you what's required when, but I'd say get some paint on there.
definitely. We've got it, so we'll paint it this week.
Okay, and just the one color, the 1634.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. 12 New Lane.
I need to step out for a few.
Okay. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Uh,
Not going far.
I don't see him online, excuse me, online. Oh.
Hey,
Oh.
there you go.
My goodness, never mind.
How are you?
All right, so what
I
is
snuck in, yeah.
12 New Street?
I didn't?
No.
I must not have seen it. Oh, was this already heard?
No.
Okay.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's a mess.
Didn't see that email. Usually pretty good.
It's a mess. Okay, so let's see. Bear with me. You're Grayson.
I am.
Good evening. Why don't you walk us through the site plan and tell us what you'd like to get done?
Sure. So to begin with, I think I would have to do an Exhibit A. The property line runs right halfway through the sidewalk, and we want to improve the sidewalk. It's kind of a tripping hazard. It's like disintegrating asphalt. And so I'm proposing brick with a brick apron, but the town would like me to work with the homeowner's lawyer to give an easement before anything is done. So that's kind of hung up with the sidewalk portion. So I'd have to maybe do Exhibit A to remove the sidewalk portion from this, so I can work with that first and then come back to you.
Well, let us, you know what, let us talk about what the sidewalk material is gonna be, and then, if it's, we can approve it and you don't have to
Okay.
do it yet.
Sure, perfect, yeah.
And then you don't have to reapply
Yeah,
and whatnot.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
that is if we approve it, so.
No,
Yeah.
he does have to go through the town.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
So I chose brick because there's a brick patio in the back, it's in town. There's brick in the area, although the sidewalk is not obviously brick.
Okay.
And then there's also that mixed media sort of retaining wall in the front, that's also kind of crumbling, so I chose an antique granite to sort of swap that out with, but same height, same spot, just an updated material
Okay.
to go with the brick.
And then a quick question is, it seems as if on the sidewalk, and the apron, that there's a picture frame effect?
Yeah, it's a soldier course, but that's just my hatch.
Oh, okay, that makes a difference. And sidewalks typically don't have it, but we'll get into the comments on that in a
Yeah.
moment. Okay, And then the fence location is around the left side as you're facing from new around to the back.
Yeah, this used to be one larger property that was subdivided, so like the side yard is very close to the house, and so they just wanted to do privacy.
Okay, so it's gonna be Angus, Val, Ray, me, and Connie on this one.
That's the same for the arbor as well. We kind of pinched the top of the driveway to create a bit of privacy up the driveway.
Okay, and you saw Holly's comments. Mickey, do you guys got anything?
No, I'll be honest, we must have missed this, so I'm just looking at it right now, and I don't have any concerns, but I might be missing something, so.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see, who'd like to begin?
I have one concern.
Val.
It's the fence and it going right on the property line. We're so far around. I get it in the back because I saw where the subdivision is. It's like an L-shaped lot. And I get this one too. I just think there's a lot of it and the planting should be on the outside.
So if we do just to address that consistent with our guidelines, if we do our guidelines, it's every other or every third panel, and they can always do a carve out in the base so that they're not actually creating a prescriptive use where someone can, after 20 years, take your property because you've created a use for them to have. If you move your fence in 2 feet,
You're giving them.
you're
I
giving
know,
them yard
but we
space.
usually tell people we want it.
Well, no, what we've been doing pretty consistently is telling them to open up a hole in the bottom and plant a plant there.
You just told the other guy 10 feet.
No, well,
Okay.
that's a deer fence, dear. That's different.
That's my
not in
main
town either.
concern.
This isn't
I
town.
think everything else looks great.
Okay, yeah, I'm not trying to take away from your concern, I just want to address it the way we've normally been doing. A privacy fence as opposed to a deer fence. A deer fence is typically 7 to 10 feet or more, depending on what kind of vegetative screening is required, and this is a little bit different. Okay, so that's Val. Connie?
I'm just looking, the brick apron, but yeah, I think I'm okay. Thank you.
Okay. Angus?
My only concern is about the fence and how close it gets to New Street. So, I mean, it's showing that it's going to the front of the house, and I think that's too close for a high fence. So I would break it back one of the lengths and either go with a lower fence or do something different so that it doesn't continue all the way up to the front of the house.
Do you have perhaps a specific suggestion to throw out there?
Yeah, it could drop to a 4-foot board fence with a typical type 2 cap.
Thank you. Let's see, Ray.
Stephen, you may have missed part of what Angus just said because I was agreeing with that. I think what Angus was proposing was rather than have it come up flush with the front face of the house, to go back one length of fence and either don't have any fence or have a lower fence, and I'm in agreement with that.
Okay. I hear that now. Okay, so my comments are typically there will not be a soldier course around a sidewalk.
Right.
So that would be eliminated, and that'll just be a running bond. Typically not a soldier course around picture framing an apron. That could be a soldier course on edge running soldier edge in a running bond, and sometimes they are run perpendicular to the street and sometimes they run parallel depending on what's going on in the neighborhood. But otherwise it gets to be a very decorative element, and individual sidewalks will take on separate identities versus just being a common use sidewalk. So that would be my concern with those two elements.
Do you think running bond for the sidewalk, and then putting the brick up on their ends to sort of change the vernacular, I suppose, for
At the
pedestrians.
apron?
At the apron,
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, I see that a lot where it's just, instead of being on the flat, it's on it's rolled 90
Yeah.
degrees on its edge.
Yeah.
So that would be those two. I agree, the fence, just bring that back one section, I think is fine. I wouldn't change it. It's just for one section to change it, I don't know, it kind of looks odd. And I have no concerns with the apron, and the fence I'm talking about, if it wasn't obvious, is the section closest to New Street. Can somebody make a motion and maybe an exhibit A? It sounds like we can get this wrapped up pretty quick, or do someone want me to propose it, or what do you want to do?
Motion to approve with the elimination of the border on the sidewalk and the apron, and one length of the closest length of 5-in-1 fence to New Street would be eliminated. So it'd start about 8 or 10 feet back from the facade of the house.
Okay, and that's an exhibit A.
And what about the planting?
And plant every third section, climbing hydrangea or other vining plant material, just half moon under the fence.
Sure.
And then you can plant it, and it'll grow both sides, and nobody loses property and doesn't create litigious situation.
That's the motion.
Okay, on Angus's motion, Angus,
Aye.
Dale,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
me, Connie.
Aye.
Okay, thanks, everyone. I just want to remind you, when we finish, we're done, and we can go home. So, you know, I'm not suggesting that inform how quickly you move, but it doesn't hurt. 60 Nobodere Ave. This goes for you too, Grayson.
Yeah. So this one, it's to close off the deer fencing sections that were approved in the winter. And Ray told me to come back here before June 1st to present options for the gate and the arbor for those three areas. Well, there's 2 arbors, 4 gates in total that we have to button up to make sure it's deer proof.
Okay, so this is 60 Nobodere. Okay, who'd like to go first?
I will, because
Yeah.
I went out there today. I think that was what was confusing to me. The wire will be there, but there'll be plants on both sides.
Correct.
Because it's not there yet.
No, I don't want to plant anything or put the deer fencing up until we know kind of how.
Okay, and I think the arbors are fine. There was a little retaining in there. That was already approved though, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's all I
Okay.
had.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Does anyone have any concerns with this? The
No.
board is, same board except for Carrie. Carrie, any concerns?
I just want to know what the posts are even.
Cedar,
Cedar, so 4x4, 6x6, what are they?
4x4.
Good?
Yeah, I just gotta read this.
Sure, take your time, no rush.
It's
Except
hard.
for I just realized the Pochik applications are like 50 of them. 1, 2.
They're not being heard, friend.
No, I just realized there's 7 of them not being heard, so my comment about when we're done is gonna be much quicker.
Arbors and gate, yeah.
Fences all exist.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Okay, is there any concerns or a motion?
Motion to approve is submitted.
On your motion,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
Gary?
Aye.
And I'm an aye. Okay, thanks, Grayson.
Thanks very much, appreciate it.
All right, we're on to 4 Pocomo. Just for people at home, 3 Pochek Ave, applications are being held till 6/3, June 3rd. Do we have any abutters? I can't wait for somebody to get that best practice. Do we have any abutters? And you can just say it. Do we have any abutters? Okay. Sorry, I'm just enjoying myself.
You want someone else to say that?
Yes. No, I'm just having fun. Okay, for Pocomo, do we have Chips?
Yep. Good evening. Yes, I am here. And if I can share the screen, I would love to present this
Yes,
application.
please.
All righty. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Chip Webster here on behalf of the applicant for a move on at 4 Pocomo. This is the mid-century modern house. It currently exists at 81 Pocomo Road. When we applied to the board or some time ago for a move demo, it was a consensus of the board that this was an historically significant structure, and we were approved for a move, but not a demo. So we set out to find a home for it, and I'm excited to say that we have found a home for it just down the road on Pocomo, which is probably one of the few places it could actually be successfully moved to. Right now, you can see the front of the house, and you can see its existing location at 81 Pocomo. We have the move off approval and some photos of the house, and then we are looking to move it to 4 Pocomo, and this shows the locus in the lower left, and it shows a blow up of the site plan on the upper right. So I turn it over to the board for comments and questions. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chip. Let's see, so it's the same board, Angus, Val, Ray, me, but Connie would like to go. You got to get a new tablet, and they are
is new.
super fine.
Chip, I have one question because I can't pull it up on this. It just keeps going away. What's going to be facing
The front.
the front door will be facing Pocomo Road, and what's that little side street?
Through the chair, it is facing, the front would be facing Pocomo. There is not a side street. The
No, it's
adjoining,
Walwinnett Road.
yeah, I was going to say it's Walwinnett Road is the adjoining street.
Okay.
On the right, you're saying? Yeah.
So as you turn from Walwinnett, if you're coming from town onto Pocomo, the proposed location is on the left.
Okay, thank you. It's cool. I'm glad you're saving it.
Anyone else with questions or concerns? Okay, Chip, I do. I think this needs to slide over to the west enough that it can go back another 10 feet or so, right up to that 50-foot line, and get it a little further off Pocomo Road. So here, it's just, if it goes over here a little bit, it can come down.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's probably gonna be 5 feet further from Pocomo Road. That's my only concern. It's gonna be a big change on a road that's traveled regularly by a lot of people. It's not typically a sightseeing road, but there is the point that people go to. It is a historic home in terms of, you know, mid-century modern at the time. But I think an extra 5 feet from the road personally is not inappropriate. What do we want to do?
I agree. I'd make a motion to approve the move as submitted, with it going back to the 50-foot setback line as far away from the road as possible, which looks like it's going west in order to accomplish that.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just worried about when they clean it up, it's gonna be that close. No, I know, I see it here, this is, yeah, well, the edge of the asphalt's here.
Yeah.
So it's,
On this one, it's really clear whether.
yeah, so I mean, it's, the road is like 40 feet away, but the zoning is 20, so we get another 5 feet, it's another 5 feet. Angus, is that an exhibit A?
Yes.
On your motion?
Aye.
Thank you. Val?
Aye.
No, you're fine. Ray?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
And me? Yes. Yeah. The other. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for doing your part, saving houses on Nantucket.
Oh,
Yep.
it was very exciting. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, that moves us to 20 Cliff Road.
Mr. Lenhart is not here.
Mr. Lenhart is not in the building. Okay, so we'll hold that. C Street,
But Ben Norman is.
Ben Norman is in the building. Ben? Virtual building,
Yeah, no.
not the brick and mortar?
The Zoom building. I'm promoting him to panelist.
C Street would take my mother. Get her out of the house. It's really cute. She's part of the board.
Yeah, we should sign her up.
She's an honorary.
She can be a junior associate.
member.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, you here?
Good evening, everybody.
Try that again.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. We're eager to proceed. We're wrapping up the evening as quickly as you present.
Great. Great. This was a revision to a previous approval. This barn is 70% built. So I don't know if anybody has seen it, but it's an exciting structure to have in our core district. And as we've put it up, the owner is looking to add some more barn features to it. So tonight we're looking at the proposal to add a small cupola to it. What was that note there? To change the doors to a patina red. So the barn is built out of old lumber that came from a barn in Iowa, and there was quite a bit of original siding that came along with it, and it's this patina red color. So we were looking to use that to build the doors out of. And then finally to add a veneer of cobblestone to the approximately 10 inches of foundation around the perimeter of it. That, I believe, is it.
Thank you. We have Holly's comments. Mickey?
Yes, so quick comment on the doors, Ben. Those are sliding doors?
Yes, they are. Yep.
Barn doors. Are they paneled? I can't really tell from your detailing because the doors shouldn't have a panel wrapping around them. It's that casing.
That's just the casing. Yep. Yeah. There's no panel. It's a tongue and groove 1x8 siding essentially.
We're good with the doors, even the color. The cupola was a little bit of a concern. It was not completely opposed to a cupola, but I think we'd like to see different options for it. You know, maybe with a maybe with a steeper roof pitch, different light configuration, and possibly even a little bit larger. So just to compare some different options on that cupola. That's it. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Let's see. So it's going to be Connie, myself, Abby, Abby's back. So let me redo. Abby, Angus, Vale, Ray, and myself. Who would like to begin?
I'll go.
Go ahead.
I went by there today, Ben. It's really cool. You're going to leave the wood that you're building the doors from with the patina that they have. It looks like, it's not perfectly painted.
Nope.
Yeah, and I love the color. It looks good in real life.
Yeah. No, it wouldn't be repainted. It's supposed to look old. I mean, the
I love it.
Ideally supposed to look old.
I agree with Mickey about the cupola. I think it can use a cupola, but maybe give us a couple choices. That's it.
Okay, thanks. Does anyone disagree with that, any of that?
Yep. I have one comment.
Yep.
This is a really tiny thing. I would like to see options for the cupola, but when Mickey talked about the casing or whatever it was with the sliding doors, it occurred to me, if they're exterior sliding doors, you're not going to see the casing because the doors actually cover the casing, including on the top where the track is. So what we should be seeing there is just two big doors that are hanging right off of the place that's concealing the track with no casing. Just FYI.
Yep, I know what you mean.
No. Okay, so we
Mr. Chair, can I make one comment before we hold for revisions?
Sure.
So on the side, boy, what direction does it face? It faces towards the main house. There's a big sliding door. I forget what elevation. I think maybe it's a west elevation. If yeah, here we go. Perfect, perfect. The client, and we submitted this about 6 weeks ago, but since then the client has wondered if we could also propose two more barn sash to the left of that big slider door, so the slider would actually slide in front of it when it opens. So
I would say, Ben, I'd say put them on the drawing and we'll look at it when you bring it back.
Yeah.
great. That's what I wanted to ask. You don't need to make a decision right now, but if I add them later, I just wanted to forewarn that addition.
I super love the ginormous flag on the east. That looks really good.
I haven't seen that yet. He mentioned it today, and I haven't been
Yeah.
over there to see it, so I have to look at it.
Looks good. Okay, so motion to hold for revisions and additional information.
So moved.
On your motion, Angus?
Aye.
Abby?
Aye.
Ray?
All right.
Al?
Aye.
And I carries unanimously. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
14 Trip Drive, Cottage and Castle.
No one's here to rep that.
Yay. I mean, sorry.
7A New Street.
How about 13 Mizzen
13 Mizzenmast, no. Brooke is,
He's right there.
13 Mizzenmast, yeah, I didn't see.
there
Oh,
he
too bad.
Brooke,
yeah, perfect timing.
good evening.
I ran as fast as I could.
We
Yes.
are quick.
No dawdling, anyone, let's go.
Do you?
Are you presenting?
I am.
Or New York?
I'm shooing Fiona over there so we can get going there. Sorry, Fiona. Oh. Brooke?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
So, 13 Mizzenmast, there's an existing dwelling. Hopefully you've all had a chance to look at the photos. We are proposing it's a second dwelling garage, but it's designed to look more like a kind of a boathouse, like a long building boathouse. And it's the same roof pitch as the main house. It's got the same dormers. I've dressed it up a little bit with the trim in the hopes of making it look a little bit, to distinguish it a little bit from the main building. There are some grade elevation differences between the front and the back. So it does look a little bit taller at the front than it does at the back. And I hope that when you're looking at this, you'll take that into consideration. There are no real grade changes from front to back, other than maybe a little bit of cutting near the back of the building of approximately like a foot. So,
Okay, thank you.
all right, I think that's it, and I'll answer questions as needed.
Okay, cool. So your board is a regular board. Who'd like to begin?
Well, I'll go because I know this neighborhood really well. For me, it's really just that it's from the street, even though it's down a little bit, it just, to me, seems it overwhelms the house. I'd like to see it come down a little bit and remove the cupola. I don't think you're gonna perceive the front to back, which is quite big. But from the street, I don't think anybody will be able to really perceive that. So it's just to make it a little bit more subordinate to the house, and that's my comment.
Thanks, Phil. Ray?
Yeah, I echo that. The cupola being justified to the front of the building is strange, but I'm tend not to like cupolas anyway. So I prefer just to see it go. And Val's comment about its scale as seen from the street, I think is appropriate, regardless of the step down from the house. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, Abby?
I think it needs to be simplified. I think the doors are, first of all, I think it's overwhelming, the little house. But I think if you simplify it, it could work. simplify the doors, simplify the fenestration on the second floor. Maybe it's just one window. The dormers are overwhelming looking from the road at it. And I'm not sure about the cupola. I'd have to see once you simplified the garage facade itself. But, and it's, the only thing that bothers me about placement is that you have that pergola in between the two. It looks a little tight. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you. Angus?
I agree with the scale needing to come down a little bit and the dormers being pronounced. I think taking a foot or foot and a half or something out of the lower level or the garage level would help bring the scale down. And I agree about the simplification of the fenestration on that gable, and whether it's one or two windows instead of three and different kinds of windows. And ideally, this would be back behind the facade. The overall scale of this, it's not, that unusual to have a big working barn in relation to a smaller dwelling. So that part doesn't bother me as much. It's just the parts that make it look less like a barn that I think throw off the whole narrative. And that would be with the scale of the dormers. That's all, thanks.
Thank you. Ray? Oh, you went, right?
Yeah.
I think it's you.
I guess it's just me. I think the cupola, I think, just kind of takes the design a little bit over the top. It makes it, I don't think it's necessarily inappropriate for the structure. Probably a different one could be more appropriate, but given the context, for me, rotate, can we go to the site plan? This one. Make it bigger. So Brooke, for me, parallel, reorient the building to parallel the property line setback and move it back, to the mid gable, to the ridge point on the house. That's it for me.
How many feet?
Well, the middle of the house. So.
So it'd be kind of to the left of that little bump out, yeah.
Ridge, it'll be here.
To the little bump?
I mean, it's not gonna go all the way to the back of the property line, but it's probably gonna go back to this location on this to be removed building. And even if it's 3/4 of the way of the halfway span from the front to the ridge, 3/4 is, it's gonna be set back enough that it's gonna look more, as Angus was saying, is that it's not atypical to have a larger structure, but
It's usually.
it is atypical to have it flush or forward of the house.
I have a question too when you're done, Mr. Chair.
So, yeah, Val?
Brooke, what's the height to the second floor? Maybe you can lose a little of that.
That will be a part of all of what you are saying
Okay.
right now.
Motion
So
to
we
hold
could-
for revisions?
Hold for revisions?
Um,
Or if you
I do have one.
If you take probably 9 inches out of the height and move it back, we'll give it an Exhibit A.
Can I,
Wait a second.
excuse me,
Sorry, go ahead, Ray.
Stephen, I love your idea in concept.
Yeah.
If Brooke moves it back, you can see that it's basically kissing the side setback line. So one or more things need to happen. Either the building would need to skew, right, with respect to the house, or it would have to move closer to the house.
I think, I was suggesting it be skewed. I don't think it's gonna be.
Okay, got it. All right. I don't think
I
that's.
bet Brooke knows what to do.
All right.
Okay, so do you guys want to see revisions? I'm fine with
Yeah.
that. I
Yes,
just, it'd be nice to.
I think that we would, I think my client would love to talk about this. I
So
think
we will
revisions.
make a motion for revisions.
May I just add one minor thing before we move forward? In terms of visibility of the dormers, the north and the south will have limited visibility, especially the south because of the building being in the way. So that was
All right.
one thing I
think
just
we
want to
moved
put that on
past
the record.
that point.
Okay, yep.
So I want to not bring it up. Thank you. Okay, motion to hold for revisions.
Yes, that's my motion.
Abby on your motion.
Aye.
Angus,
Aye.
Val,
Aye.
Ray,
I,
and I'm an aye. So now we're on to 7A New Street,
Thank
Fence
you.
and Gate.
Is that Brook too?
No,
No, it's-
Waterscapes.
Waterscapes.
Is Jesse here?
no,
Good night,
there's
Brooke.
not. There's somebody online named Susan Brandt. I don't know what they're here for.
Hi, Susan. Can you identify yourself, what property you're here for? Is it the plastic shed on Arlington Street?
The one that
No.
we just looked at.
Oh,
Oh,
Teen Mizzen Mast.
okay, so Brooke's got some marching orders. He's going to run by you and see what you all
Brooke's got
come
it.
up with.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, take care. 24 Arlington Street,
No.
plastic shed.
no.
Minutes of March 25th, April 29th, and May 13th. Is there a motion
So
to
moved.
approve? Regular board, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions?
Val,
Val
abstain.
and Alma, no. Okay, next HCC meeting, conveniently enough, is Tuesday, June 3rd. New business. And with that,
Move to adjourn.
7:45, we will, or 7:45, we'll get a motion to adjourn. Anyone, motion?
Move to adjourn.
Members present, including Connie, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you.
good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Hi,
Hi,
Ray.
Ray.
Keep an eye out for your best practices
I
manual.
will, promise.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay and look at some more things.
Just for the hell of it. You're gonna get, Abby's gonna get caught up for next week.
It just, you know,
Reviewing best practices. Nice.